Ready? Play.
This is the ATP Finals. It is the qualifying match from the green group, and we are talking tennis.
Good
This
one,
is
Nick.
Which we're trying. I'm Nick. This is Shrihari. You've probably seen us before, and we're here to watch Félix Auger-Aliassime take on Taylor Fritz to decide who's going to come second in the group behind Casper Ruud, who I believe has already won his group. That's
Yes.
right, Shrihari.
Yes, he's won his group. Regardless of who wins here, Casper Ruud has the head-to-head advantage against that player. So he's won the group already. And the same case with Novak Djokovic on red group. But obviously we'll be getting to that tomorrow. Right now, all eyes on this knockout match tonight between Félix Auger-Aliassime and Taylor Fritz. They have played this year, back in January, at the ATP Cup. Taylor Fritz, I believe he came back from a set down to beat Félix Auger-Aliassime. Pretty significant win, I would say, because Félix Auger-Aliassime was playing some of his best tennis that tournament and at the Australian Open, all the way up to, I would say, Marseille. He also picked up his very first title after losing 8 consecutive finals in Rotterdam. So that was the stretch during which Taylor Fritz did beat Félix. Which is important to keep in mind before we get into this clash. But obviously conditions are a bit different. Still a fast hard court, but this is indoors, and where they did play at the ATP Cup, I believe it was Sydney or Brisbane, I'm not sure where exactly, probably Sydney, or I think they played across three cities. It's Brisbane, Sydney, and Perth. I don't know where exactly they played, but regardless, I think this will be a pretty exciting match. And what I hope it won't be, which it will be inevitably, is something that is so one-sided for the server.
Yeah. Shrihari, because you've got a better memory for these things than me, can I just ask, because obviously Canada won that ATP Cup, what's turned out to be the last ATP Cup, at least for now, because it has been dead before.
Yes.
So Canada won it, and Félix and Denis Shapovalov led that team. Was that Fritz match the only singles match that Félix lost during that title run?
He did lose to Medvedev as well in the semifinal. It was 6-4, 6-love. Of course, Shapovalov turning it around, beating Safiullin, and Canada sealed the doubles match, and they went through to the final, beating Spain. And I think they beat Spain 2-0. Félix beating, if I'm not mistaken, Roberto Bautista. Did he beat him or did he lose to him? I think he beat him, and then Shapovalov beat, or it's the other way around actually. Shapovalov beat Carreño Busta, and Félix beat RBA, I want to say.
I think it was a comprehensive win for Canada. I remember that.
Let me just have a look. Yes, Félix did beat RBA, and that sealed the title. Interestingly, Félix was also the captain of the team, not only a player. And here we have Jethro.
Hey, yo.
So this is the Popcorn Tennis Podcast lineup you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And since we're all here, thanks for joining us this afternoon, this evening, regardless of where you are. We're looking forward to this one. How about you, Jethro?
Yeah, very excited. Obviously, straight shootout. Well, I always like it when it's nice and simple. You get one dead rubber, one shootout, and we've got that in both groups. And it's going to be a really tight match. I think they've both got a lot of areas to exploit in their opponents in their opponent's game. Got their own weapons. Should be a really good match, hopefully. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's definitely going to be a nice contrast between the two. I think the Félix forehand versus the Taylor backhand is going to be an interesting dynamic. They're both very strong, but probably more well known for those shots specifically. It'll be a big serving contest. I think tennis is always, you can't have good matches when in the middle of a round robin, because we've seen that in previous years when dominant teams taken on Novak Djokovic or Rafael Nadal. But tennis is always more at its best. It's most interesting where there's something on the line, and there is definitely something on the line tonight. It's a place in semi-finals. Definitely playing Novak Djokovic. Shahuri, as a Novak Djokovic fan, who would you rather Djokovic be playing on Saturday, or who do you think Djokovic would rather play? Or do you think he's that confident he can beat them both?
If his current form is anything to go by, he can probably give both of them a nice smacking. But if I were to pick one player, I would say it would be Fritz, just because he has his number. I think they played 4 times, 3 times last year, and apart from that Australian Open match, right? Apart from the Australian Open match, where we know was filled with drama, Djokovic getting injured after going 2 sets to love up, calling for the trainer, taking a medical timeout. That match being stretched to 5 sets. Probably didn't even know if Novak would complete the match, let alone win it. But he, pulled off the sensational win 6-2 in the 5th. And obviously that, we don't have to get into the drama that unfolded after for the rest of the tournament. And then they played in Rome and Paris that same year. Rather easy wins for Djokovic, I would say. And obviously before that, they played in 2019 in Monte Carlo and Madrid. Djokovic again winning comfortably in both of those matches. I think it was 6-3, 6-love in Monte Carlo and 6-4, 6-2, something like that in Madrid. So aside from that Australian Open match, Djokovic has not even dropped a set to Fritz. Although against Felix was the player who pushed Djokovic the most in Rome this year, en route to Djokovic's title win, and beat him at the Laver Cup on an indoor hard court. Granted, Djokovic wasn't 100%. So I would say, putting historical context in perspective, Djokovic would probably much rather play Fritz.
Yeah, I could see that. And I think, aside from that, I think Felix's game is a lot more dynamic and explosive, and could put even Djokovic's defense, could really test it. Interestingly, Ashley thinks that Felix wins easily tonight. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think Felix has been amazing, in this indoor hardcourt season, but I'm still a little bit worried about the backhand side and how that will hold up in the cross-court exchanges with Fritz's backhand. Because Fritz is, and his backhand was never really that much of a weapon. It was all right. It was kind of a trading shot, but his forehand was, the money shot. And his backhand's turned into a real weapon, the way he takes it so early and on the rise. So Felix has got to be on guard for that. When he's serving and hitting his forehand really, really well, he could really be unbeatable on these courts. But I don't know. I think it's going to be close. And I think, Fritz, he was very close against Ruud the other day. Granted, Ruud kind of choked a couple of match points, and he got a bit of luck on the 6-all point with the let cord. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be tight though, personally.
I have to agree with Jethro. I don't think it's going to be an easy win either way. I am going to pick Taylor Fritz in 3 sets, but I don't think it's going to be. Ooh. Yeah. I just think Fritz takes this one. I had him qualifying for the semifinal, obviously, before the tournament began. We're seeing Felix's first round performance and first match performance in the first match, and also one against Nadal. He was decent. I wouldn't say he played exceptionally to beat Nadal, although Fritz has been playing. I think he's impressed me more than Felix has, and I just think Felix might just turn it up completely today and take the win and qualify for the semifinal. But I was always pretty much confident in one player making this semifinal. That was Taylor Fritz. I think he wins this and makes the semis.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Felix in 3. I think that although Felix has struggled a little bit more in comparison to Fritz, I think that it's more of a matchup issue with Ruud, maybe. I think that he's got the better form going into this tournament still backing him. He was still one of the 4 kind of favourites going in. And I think he might be a little bit more clutch in the bigger moments. So I think Fritz will fight. I think it'll be close, but I'm going Felix in 3. Jethro, tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Felix in 3 as well. I just don't think a lot separates them, to be honest. And you said tiebreaker. I could see it going to a third set tiebreaker, to be fair. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be really, really tight. I think it's a 50-50 call, really.
I'd be up for that. And thank you, Ashley, for saying we're really good. This is the first time we've done a live stream together. But if you want to hear us chatting, you can subscribe to the Popcorn Tennis Podcast, where we 3 are hosts, and you can hear us chatting about tennis extensively. We've got a couple of episodes in the pipeline. Right, Shahiri?
Yes. Thanks for the reminder. And yeah, they will be out soon. So keep an eye out for that. And yes, a lot more content coming out through our podcast over the off season. We have a lot of guests lined up. We have a lot of ideas as well. So stay tuned and make sure you listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Oh, and subscribe to this channel as well before John gets angry. So just promoting our podcast all over his show.
Right.
You can listen to our podcast and watch Talking Tennis. Probably not at the same time, but that might get confusing. But yeah, you'll see the 3 of us popping up on Talking Tennis. I'm here tomorrow as well. I'm also here on Saturday. I don't know whether, I think you 2 are probably going to pop up at some point over the next few days, as well as the ATP finals wraps up. Appreciating the love, and hopefully everyone else watching enjoys listening to us too. Where are we at with the warm-up, guys? I think the players have been warming up as we've been chatting.
Probably done warming up.
Yeah, they're all done now, I think.
Yeah, going to Nottingham, Ashley. I actually don't live too far. Well, I've heard Laura Robson's become the tournament director of the Nottingham WTA 250, which is probably about an hour away from me. So I was going to go anyway. I'm ticking off all the different places in the UK, and I wanted to go to Nottingham in 2023. But I think I definitely need to go now to support Laura, because she was one of my favourite players when she was around. As
great commentator as well.
Definitely one of the best commentators out there. She is way better than any of us.
Oh yeah, that's a harsh reality, but yeah, she is.
Right, and the match has just begun, which means I will be phasing out and pulling the strings from behind as usual. I'll let you and Nick and Jethro take the reins and take us through this match, and hope you enjoy.
Catch you soon, mate.
Alrighty, thanks, Shahiri. So it's 15-love to Taylor Fritz, and he's serving first to get this match underway. He's not found
of a second serve.
Not found a first serve yet, but hang on. Let's see where you are, Jethro. We're in a cross-court backhand rally at the minute.
Yeah.
Forehand Felix, backhand Fritz, slows Felix into the bottom of the net.
Yeah.
Where am I relative to you, Jethro?
I think that was pretty much identical to what I was seeing. So that's good.
Fantastic. So far I'd say Fritz is struggling to find a first serve, but his second serve is getting Felix on the back foot early on. So he's although he managed to land a first serve now and finishes it off at the net, because Felix just drops that return so short.
Fritz looks red hot coming out. Although is he limping a bit?
Often tennis players look like they're limping.
Yeah.
I feel like Nadal just plays with a limp now.
Plays with a broken body, just 24/7. Well, that's a perfect start for Fritz. Holds to love.
Yeah, I mean, actually, how many players are more broken than we realise? I think Nadal's very open about his injuries, but actually, I don't think any tennis player ever walks out to a match physically 100%. I think I've just come to realise that watching this year.
I don't think so either. I think it goes for all professional sportsmen. There's always something, even if it's like really minor. You know, something that's like enough for you to miss like a school match when you're a school kid. But you know, they'll play through all that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't know. I didn't play sport at school. Actually, fun fact, I didn't go to school. But
Yes,
that
I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, so that's another story. But I think, and also let's face it, the human body is not designed to play tennis. It's fun, it's a great thing to do, but maybe it's not meant to be playing tennis all day.
No.
But then it's probably not meant to be sat at an office all day either.
Yeah, you need a nice balance. 3 hours tennis, 3 hours office.
Yeah, there we go. That should be
rest of the time sleeping.
That's the dream life, isn't it, Jethro?
Yeah, that's my dream. A few hours of work, so I feel productive. Then I go play tennis, and then I go to a pub, and then I go to sleep. That's pretty my dream day in, day out.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't talked to you about how often do you get to play tennis?
Oh, so rarely, like never. But
Same.
Hopefully, because I'm moving fairly soon, hopefully, I join a club and. Oh shit.
So hopefully you get a high-paid job. You can join the Queen's Club.
Oh, that'd be nice. I need to get some grass court tennis in.
Apparently, Queen's Club was originally like the home of indoor tennis at one point, like way back in the past. Like I think they still have really good indoor courts, but like it was an indoor tennis tournament at one point, like before the Open era.
Mm. Have you guys heard of Big Ben Shelton? Yes, I have. Just won.
We have
2 challenges in a row, I think, or he had Chris Eubanks 2 finals in a row, and it looks like they might be on for a 3rd one actually this weekend as well.
What a way to end the season for them, just clashing. Yeah, Shelton, very exciting American prospect. Obviously beat Casper Ruud in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a 5-set match in the US Open, if I remember right. And did quite well there. So I'm expecting to see him around.
I think he lost first round, but he did like well.
Yeah, it was a 5-set loss. It wasn't he fought for it.
Yeah. He's beaten Eubanks 2 finals in a row. He's into the semis or quarters tomorrow. Just quickly find the US Open.
Jethro's doing that. Sure, I've never played on grass either. I know it's weird living in the UK, but actually grass courts are generally quite inexpensive places to play. So I would love to play on grass. I think that would be interesting, although I think my game's probably better suited on clay than grass. But hopefully one day both of us will get to have a go.
I've played on grass. It's actually quite a funny story, to be fair.
Oh, go on. Well, actually, maybe after this game. It's 30 all.
Yeah. This is tight. 30 all. Right, Félix serving.
Yeah, we're getting distracted. We're worth it. What a serve.
Clutch ace down the middle.
Yeah. Trust Félix to come out with a big serve when he needs it.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely improved his mentality as time's gone on. And like it was pretty good to begin with, but you can tell this year he's really matured. Yeah,
a lot. I mean, it really kind of started coming together in Australia with he had those match points against Medvedev, and Medvedev just clutch saved them with those aces. But Fritz
another great from Felix. Fritz could have got himself back in the match there.
Yeah,
I think Felix, I think Felix's form actually started before the Australian Open at the ATP Cup, leading Canada to win it. A lot of his performances there were really impressive, and I don't think anyone was expecting Canada to do it. I think we all thought it was going to be Russia again with Medvedev, but COVID kind of hampered them because they lost Rublev and Karatsev. But still, Medvedev almost did a very good job carrying them to the semi-finals. Fritz hit an unreturnable serve to start his next service game.
Yeah, I mean, Canada in team events are scary. Like Shapovalov and Auger-Aliassime just turn up so well.
Yeah,
insane. If they could just
Yeah.
pretend that
I
they
think
were
the
playing
big
for
three
Canada,
good.
and on the main tour, that would be quite good for them, I think. But
Yeah, I think so too. I think, but yeah, let's face it, tennis and team events and playing for your country is a complicated situation.
yeah, Fritz looking very comfortable on serve so far. Still yet to drop a point.
Yeah, for our prediction to come right, Jethro, maybe Felix will need to come from a set down. Or
We'll see. I mean, this might well go to a tiebreak, and then it's anyone's game.
true. I mean, it's one service game generally. We saw it from Tsitsipas against Djokovic when they played and played. Tsitsipas, other than one bad service game right at the start, served really, really well through that match.
He did. He played amazingly yesterday. Gosh.
Yeah.
Such a fun match to watch because I'm very neutral on that rivalry as well, I would say, most of the time.
You were covering that match last night, weren't you?
Yeah, it was wild.
It was such a good one. It was like that rivalry, everyone's been hyping it and they haven't really had a match that's kind of justified it, but I think they have now.
Yeah. Like Cincinnati was good, but Medvedev was really poor. Whereas this one, Medvedev had, although he still, choked a 5-3 lead or, something for the match at 5-4, he still, he still had a couple of, had a good stretch of playing really well from around 5-all in the tiebreaker in the first set to kind of 5-3 in the second set. He had a really good purple patch. So it was both players, had some good peaks in the match and the drama was amazing. And there was no personal drama. It was all just great tennis drama.
Yeah. I mean, we hyped the personal drama between them, but it was like they were like teenagers at the time. And I don't think it's as big a deal now. Like, how many people are you okay with now that you may have had a beef with when you were 18?
Exactly, yeah. And Tsitsipas was even younger. He was probably, I think he must have been about 18 during that fight and that argument in Indian Wells. He was, kind of like what Holger is now, and Tsitsipas has grown up a lot. Medvedev's, still a fiery character, but he's matured a lot as well. And I think now they kind of just respect each other. They might not like each other, and that's good. We want something like that to be on tour, but I don't think we'll see anything really dramatic. Maybe now and again something will happen, but
yeah, absolutely. Ashley was asking us how Carlos Alcaraz is. If we know, no real reports seem to be coming out recently. I mean, he was in Turin to accept the #1 trophy because obviously he's finished the year as the world #1, ending the reign of the big four at the top of the year-end rankings, which has been a thing for almost 2 decades now. Obviously hasn't been playing since he's sustained an abdominal injury. He's going to need to rest it. So he's going to be currently rehabbing as best he can. This is almost the best chance for it because he doesn't need to worry about skipping events. And I think we'll be seeing him probably a little rusty come Australia, but he'll play himself into form. So I guess the question of asking how Carlos is, I think Carlos is fine considering he caught it at the right time, and we'll see him back up and running in Australia.
I think he's very happy lifting that year-end #1 trophy, which I know there's a lot of factors which have gone into the rankings this year, with obviously Djokovic not playing 2 of the slams, and then there was no points awarded at Wimbledon. We all know that, but if anyone deserves to lift that trophy, it's young Carlos. The kid's just amazing, and he's had such an inspiring year.
Not Rafa, because he won 2 slams this year.
I did say last night, I was like, I would have been happy with any one of Djokovic, Nadal, Alcaraz being world-end #1, year-end #1. They've all had an amazing season, and for me, that's the top 3 of the year. They're the 3 best players this year, I would say.
For sure. They've made all the headlines. They've made all the positive headlines. I think there have been a few people who've had some good ones on the ATP tour, but I would agree with you. It needs to be one of the 3. I'll be fascinated to see the dynamic those 3 have in 2023, considering Djokovic can now play every slam, probably. Let's face it, if you're getting into Australia, he's probably going to be able to get into the US. So
I'll be shocked if they still have a mandate by September, August next year. I'll be shocked. I mean,
So
it'll be ridiculous if they do, but it is America, so you never fully know with them.
yo, Vanch, how we doing?
Here he is. Oh, that's such a cute profile picture, Vange.
Taylor Fritz goes long on a forehand to make it 15-all. They were in a really good forehand rally with Felix that eventually it was Fritz's forehand that broke down. He's a little bit annoyed with himself. He was going a little bit backwards when he hit it.
Love 15. Yeah, he had a chance there to put a bit more pressure on, but
yeah, for sure. Definitely Felix a little bit more vulnerable in his service games right now. Very interesting place, I would say, as he builds up to serve. First serve. What's he going to do? He's going to go out wide. Fritz gets it back in. Felix goes up the middle. Backhand Fritz. Forehand Felix up court. Slice from Fritz into the net. Really good, assertive, aggressive from Felix. Always in control of the point. That was a good game craft there from Felix.
Yeah, that was nicely done. And that's kind of his pattern of play, big serve, +1, keep it on the forehand side. That's how he wants to be dictating points on that forehand side of his.
Yeah, it's definitely
he can hit it anywhere as well.
He was definitely running around to make sure he hit that forehand. Although
he's coming off
backhand. Oh my word, what a passing shot.
He's coming off a backhand there and he's gone straight into Fritz's forehand and he's given him the entire court. That's why he doesn't like to dictate with his backhand because, that's just sat right up for it. That's just an absolute gimme for Fritz.
After constructing the last point so well, that was the other end of the scale, really.
Yeah, nicely taken by Fritz. But yeah, he's just hit right into his sweet spot there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, 30-all, big point. Here we go. So Fritz is going to be not Fritz. Felix Auger-Aliassime is going to serve again out wide. And I was either wide or a lat. I think it was wide because Felix isn't getting out of the ball. It did look risky to say the least. So we've got a second serve. 30-all on a second serve. Is there any tenser moment? Probably second serve on a break point. Up the middle this time.
Love 40.
Backhand Felix. Backhand up the line, Fritz, but wide into the tram lines, and he's annoyed with himself for that because he could have.
There was no need for that shot. That was just a rush of blood to the head. He got overexcited.
Yeah, where would you suggest he should have put it? Should he gone back cross court?
Keep going. Oh yeah, gone either back cross court, but he tried to hit a really off balance flying backhand down the winner. Backhand down the line winner.
It does get that rush of blood to the head sometimes. He does go for the unnecessary winner sometimes.
Yeah, he did it a few times against Ruud.
Yeah, I didn't. So he does it quite a bit as Felix wins the game.
Safely holds for now. But yeah, it's tight on Felix's serve, and I would say they're getting to there. There's definitely a few more rallies on the Felix serve at the moment. I would have gone back to
for
Felix.
Sure.
Yeah, same. But then again, we're not top 10 players in the world, are we? So who are we to judge?
I'm barely even a top 10 player in Stoke-on-Trent.
I don't think I'm even top 10 player in my house, and there's only 4 of us.
How many people live in your house, Jethro?
Really, I'm only at home with mum and dad these days.
You're ranked below the dog.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even have a pet. We have a cat that sometimes visits us, but probably better than me at tennis.
Okay. There's Taylor Fritz. He's already 15 love up. Serving really well. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Well, Felix has done himself well to get himself in this point. He's moving Fritz around, slicing with the backhand. Fritz goes to the forehand inside out, backhand cross court. Felix, but that was wide.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a good point from Felix. He had a bit of consistency on the backhand there. Some nice slices.
Yeah, he did it well. He did well to get that serve back, and Fritz didn't really put away, and Felix got himself in the point. And then once he got himself in the point, yeah, you were right, really consistent play. Fritz misses with the first serve. Interesting. So after a couple of really strong opening service games, Fritz's serve is not quite firing in this fifth game of the match. Maybe this set could be a bit closer than we initially thought. Goes up the middle and is unreturnable.
That's just class.
Yeah.
He's
what would you
he's
say?
really kind of recently looking, now he really is looking like the kind of player I always thought he was actually going to be, which is really interesting for me because I always thought there was a lot of potential there.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously he was a very interesting player to catch my eye on. I think it was like 2015 or something like that, and he broke through, and he was 18, and he was on tour, and he was married and had a child, which was like obviously like which is very very like you know rare. You know, it's very uncommon. And like his wife and kid were like traveling around with him and he was playing professional tennis. I was like, this is so weird. Like I'm 18 and like what? And so I like that's kind of like how I knew of him and like this young American guy. And then I watched him and I don't know, I always thought there was something really good in his game. And then there was a match between him and Dominic Thiem at the Australian Open. I want to say 2018, I think. Might have been the year. And I was really, really impressed with Fritz. I think Thiem won in 4, but Fritz played really well. And again, I thought serve forehand really, really good. If he sorts his backhand out and his movement, he's going to be a seriously good player. And his backhand and movement are the biggest improvements of his game the last year. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a slam contender in the next year, for sure. I think he's got the game for it.
He does have the game for it, but he doesn't usually. I don't know how he stacks up against the other main contenders. I mean, he's pushing Felix at the minute, but in terms of the established contenders, people like Djokovic, I'm not sure he can beat. Carlos, bit of a challenge if Carlos is playing well. Rafa, fully fit or fully with enough match play behind him, not convinced he beats Rafa. I'm not sure what the limitations exactly are, but as Vanch, it makes it 3 people going for a 3-set win for Felix. So that should be it's interesting. So we've got 3 people saying Felix in 3. Ashley in the chat is saying Felix in 2, and Shahuri saying Fritz in 3. So someone could be wrong and Fritz in 2. And like all of us, none of us know what we're talking about.
Fritz, I think Fritz looks the more composed and the better player so far, is what I'd say. But it's very early days.
Yeah. Well, it's currently 3-2, change of ends. Jethro, what was your funny story about grass court?
Oh, so this is a great story. I wish I had a bigger audience. So I was in Australia, in Melbourne. I was doing this like tennis thing as you know, between when I went to between when I left school and when I went to uni. And yeah, I was in Melbourne and doing this like tennis thing out there. And there was this like I was like at this club and this woman who like helped run things at the club knew of this like big grass court tennis tournament coming up in somewhere in Victoria that was like 5.5 hours away. And this girl who was like doing the same tennis thing as me at the time was also there, and she was like, "Oh, I'll try and get you guys into this tournament. It'll be really, really cool if you go." Well, yeah, sure. And so she lied to the organizers and said, "Oh, I've got these 2 tennis scholars over from England." So they were like, "Oh my god, yeah, let's get them in the draw." And yeah, and so then we entered this tournament miles away and obviously traveled there. Both lost embarrassingly in our first round. And then I lost in the consolation singles as well. But, and I never even played on grass before. And then like first round I got put up against like a full-time tennis coach. And I was just like, he had like all his students watching. I was like, oh, nice. Yeah, this isn't going to be fun at all. And yeah, I lost 6-love.
You got a schooling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a lesson, which I didn't really learn much from, apart from don't play grass again.
Don't play grass against a tennis coach knows what he's doing. Did they find out that you weren't actually scholars?
I think it was quite obvious the moment. I think it was quite obvious. I don't think they really cared actually, because there wasn't like a lot of excitement of me being there. Obviously, no one knew who I was, but they just it was hilarious. And to be fair, like I'd met a couple of people the next, like like the week before, these two guys who'd won the Australian Open, like under 18s Australian Open, like junior doubles title or something.
Wow.
And I played tennis with them like the week before, and they were like super nice, obviously like amazing players, super nice, and I hung out with them a bit at this tournament. And they're both playing like college tennis these days.
Wow.
Yeah, one of them's at Oregon, the other one's at Memphis, I think, but they're doing well. So who will we see them be pro? That would be cool, and then I can tell my funny story for a long time.
What are their names? A bit like Vance and Emilio Navas.
No, you'll have to wait and see. I will let you know their names when they come through, when they become pro.
Right, big moment here. 15:30 on the Félix Auger-Aliassime serve at 2-3 in the opening set. Fritz gets ready to receive. Félix builds up serves out wide, but left. Yeah, that was clearly in because that was. I think the ball definitely slowed down before making contact with the court. So here we go. Reset. Try again. Félix builds into, gets ready to serve, and goes out wide again, but misses.
Yeah, he's challenging.
He's challenging.
Yeah, I thought that might have caught the line. Maybe. It's
it's hard to tell with these camera angles, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah.
And it is building up to it. Attention of the challenge.
Yes. Oh, yes. Come on. Come on.
Jethro. They should. You are Mr. Hawkeye.
I don't know about that. I still, if I just can't be objective about it. If Diego hits a ball be like a meter long and I just got screaming at it, was it? You know, just like.
Maybe get Jethro as an umpire after Diego Schwartzman retires.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Because I'll just try.
Ashley's asking who your favourite player is.
Oh, you go first, Nick.
I know. No, you were just talking about one.
Yeah, no, you go. I've got a long answer for this.
Okay. Well, tell you what, Ashley, I'm going to answer your question after this game because we're still at 30 all. So I'm going to
answer your question with another question.
Well, yes, because we're a tricky bunch at talking tennis. As Felix serves, body serve, Fritz gets it back. They're going backhand to backhand, which is probably going to favour Fritz, isn't it? Let's face it, they're still going backhand to backhand. Felix goes up the line with it. Forehand Fritz to the Felix forehand, backhand Fritz. Felix forehand inside out, backhand Fritz cross court, forces Felix to use the backhand. Forehand Fritz up the line, forces Felix to run for the forehand. Right at Fritz's feet, slice Felix, forehand Fritz. Backhand Felix up the line, forehand Fritz cross court. They're still going. They're still moving each other around.
Amazing rally.
Yeah, I wish you could watch this if you're not. Slice from Felix cross court. Backhand Fritz.
And he's gone long.
It's long. And he's annoyed with himself for that.
Great rally. That was good. Felix was under the cosh there. He's done well.
Yeah, that both of them could have got control of the rally at different points. And at the end of the day, it was Felix who put Fritz a little bit disadvantage, and Fritz just tried to pull the trigger again, just got a little bit too hot-headed with the backhand. So we're at 40-30.
Coming up pretty well in the exchanges, but I'd say Fritz still looks better off the ground once they get into an extended rally.
Yeah, I would agree. Unless Felix is in full control of the point, he's not comfortable right now. He's not comfortable just rallying. He has to really work his way into points. As unreturnable serve, or was that a let?
Yeah, that's game. So we're at 3-all.
Okay, so favourite players. Well, Jethro's mentioned one of his already. Or we've mentioned.
I haven't given him a proper introduction yet. You wait.
And actually, we're assuming it's Ashley. How does Ashley identify? So my favourite player growing up was Roger Federer. So obviously very sad to see him retire a few months ago. My current favourite players are mostly on the women's tour. So a big Iga Swiatek fan. I think I absolutely love her game. I think the amount of variety she can use with her shots. Was that Felix? Did Felix get that?
No, he missed it. That was makeable as well.
Yeah, no wonder he's shouting at himself. I'm a big Iga Swiatek fan. Love what she can do with that forehand. I also really enjoy watching Leylah Fernandez play. I think she's really exciting. Really, I love the feistiness and the counter punching she can produce with her leftiness. And being a Brit, I do have a soft spot for Emma Raducanu. I wanted to do well. I want to fulfill the promise that she showed by winning that US Open. I've got a few other players, but I would say that I'm mostly women's players. Swiatek, Fernandez, Raducanu, probably my three favourites. Don't really have a massive favourite on the men's tour at the minute. Probably Andy Murray as a Brit. Do have a soft spot for Daniel Medvedev as well. But yeah, those are mine. Jethro.
So, number one of all time, the reason I fell in love with tennis, Rafael Nadal, which is great for our podcast because we have an all-time Novak fan, an all-time Federer fan, and an all-time Nadal fan. So we've got a good balance on there. And then since 2016, obviously Rafa's always, still going to be number one in my heart. But Dominic Thiem and Diego Schwartzman pretty much join up there with him at this point. Nadal just gets, longevity points really. And favorite young player to look up for the future, Sebastian Baez, Argentine, cracking little player. Women's, I do really like Iga. I really like Paula Badosa as well. And very excited about Qin Wenjing as well. I would say they're probably my three faves on the women's side at the moment to watch. Well, Paula when she's playing well. Paula when she's playing badly is no. It's a tough watch. When she's playing like she did in Indian Wells last year, she's fantastic to watch. Yeah,
Paula Badosa is box office tennis when she's playing well, and I really hope we get to see more of that from her in 2023. I'm a big fan of Venus Williams and Lee Na growing up. Good choices. I think kind of less Lee Na as well. Always enjoyed watching. I did enjoy watching Lee Na play. Very happy for her when she won her 2 slams. And I believe Ashley said earlier that she's a fan of Linda Noskova, who is an up-and-coming Czech tennis player. I think
she's got some good players coming through, haven't they? The Fruitova sisters as well.
Yeah, so Noskova, I think she's the one who tested Raducanu at Roland Garros, and had a really good match with her. And she's a really exciting.
That was Qin Wen, I think, who tested Iga.
No, Raducanu.
Oh, Raducanu. Sorry. Yeah.
So, I think that I think this is a big. I think she's going to be a big talent for the future. I'm really excited to see. She's got a really exciting game, big hitter. So I hope we get to see some big results from her, as we have seen from Linda Fruitova this year, because she managed to win a title. But yeah, new Czech generation coming through. As always, apparently tennis is like the biggest sport in Czechia. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So,
I always really liked Thomas Berdych from Czechia. God, I don't think I've ever seen someone strike a tennis ball as cleanly as Berdych in all my life, actually. And that's one of the reasons I really like Yannick Sinner right now, is because he strikes the ball so cleanly and just so hard, and it's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Yannick. Really, I need Yannick to win a big title. He's won a 500 in his career. He's won a couple of titles, but I want to see him win at least a Masters next. I think it's going to be hard for him to win a Slam, maybe the US Open.
But I think he can win any of them. To be honest, maybe not next year.
It's just whether he will.
Got a good chance in Australia one day as well. I think the thing that's held him back from winning a big title this year has been injuries, really. Alcaraz, pulled a Houdini act on him at the US Open, but he almost had Alcaraz's number, 3 times this year. So yeah, I think Sinner's great. Really excited, and I think his recent injury problems, he's having to pull out tournaments. People really suffer from recency bias so badly in tennis, and people have kind of just been saying, "Oh no, Rune's better than him now. It's going to be Alcaraz, Rune, Auger-Aliassime." I'm like, do this way. Sinner's going to be great as well. No, unbelievable.
No, don't rule Sinner out. He's had some injury problems. That's been what's holding him.
Like it's been like 8 or 9 injuries this year. You know, like he had to retire against Rublev with the French, and he was playing amazingly in Paris. And he had to pull out.
If he's consistently healthy, or at least his injuries are minimised to the point where he can play, 100% he's a contender everywhere he goes.
Yeah,
any surface.
sure. And like, I know people say that he needs to improve his serve, and I'm like, well, he served really well at Wimbledon, and like, you know, that's where you want to serve well on grass.
He did.
And no one was complaining about his serve there, so I don't know where all these experts start saying, "Oh, he's got a terrible serve." I'm like, well, no, he doesn't. Like, he was having bombs against Alcaraz at Wimbledon.
Why is Vanch talking about Milos Raonic?
I'm assuming someone asked.
Maybe because
Ashley said, "Where's Raonic these days?" Yeah, he is falling off the face of the earth. Gosh.
Yeah, injuries have got to him pretty badly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to expect from Raonic in his career, if I'm honest. I think he's had his day.
Yeah, definitely. He's in the same category of Nishikori and Dimitrov and Goffin, who have had their chance and not capitalized on it.
I mean, if you told me one of those people was going to win a Grand Slam, I would say Dimitrov, because he's still capable of playing like an absolute god when he puts it all together. Will he do it for 7 matches? No, he just can't. It's so sad.
He struggles to do it for more than 5.
For more than 2 sets. Yeah, it's just. I mean, Dimitrov's career is, relatively speaking, he's had a great career. World Tour finals, multiple Grand Slam semi-finals. But
yeah, Cincinnati champion.
So much potential. Yeah, Masters 1000 champion. He's actually. I was like looking at this like tennis quiz online the other day, and he's like quite high up in like. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like career, like best careers, like in terms of what they've won. He's like quite high up on that list because he's won the World Tour Finals and a Masters 1000, which is like actually really rare for someone to do.
Yeah,
there's not many players who've done it.
He can, when he's done, he can look back and say that he's had a good career, and like for the for the era he was playing in, he's had some good results. Mentioning Luca Pui, yeah, he was top 10 for a week. He had a lot of potential. Injuries have definitely ruined his chances.
I was never too sold on Pui personally. I remember he kind of had that very random run to the Australian Open semis in 2019 and got torn alive by Djokovic.
Yeah. Really bad. It wasn't great, but then let's face it, Djokovic was ripping apart everyone in that tournament, like even Nadal.
He took Nadal to the cleaners in the final. Yeah, it was savage.
Yeah. For those who are wondering what the score is, by the way, it is currently 4-4. Felix actually had an easy hold for the first time in the match, and it's currently 15-all after a pretty good rally between the two that they're just replaying now. Felix couldn't quite get that forehand over the net. It was a really good forehand from Fritz. As Fritz serves up the middle, Felix gets it back, manages to scramble it. Forehand Fritz again puts Felix on the defensive, moving Felix around now with the forehand. Felix goes to the backhand. That was a bit too neutral from Fritz. Goes really deep with the backhand. Then goes back to moving Fritz around from one side to the other. Slice, forehand Fritz, forehand Felix, forehand Fritz. Really outright. Oh my word!
That was forehand. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous from Fritz. And yeah, good point from Shahiri there that Pui has also won a title on every surface, and he's made the quarterfinal better at 3 out of the 4 slams. Not many people have won a title on all surfaces at all.
I think Shahiri's the person who could probably name all of them.
I can name, in terms of active, obviously both Rafa and Novak. I know Team has.
Anyone who's won all 4 of the majors, and then Team has definitely won one because he's got a grass court title, which people forget.
That's why I picked Team to make the Wimbledon semi-finals next year. That's my bold pick for 2023.
Team in the Wimbledon semi-finals.
Yeah, and I will sell everything on my body for a ticket. Tsitsipas as well. Yes, he did that this year. He won Mallorca, beating Bautista Agut in the final.
Hang on. So we say to get a ticket, do you mean ticket to a semi-final with Dominic Thiem in, or just a Wimbledon ticket in general?
Yeah, if Thiem's there. Oh yeah, I mean, like, I'm happy just to watch from home if it's not Thiem, but if Thiem's there, I'll be selling body parts on the dark web.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, folks. You hear there's a lot of strange things happening.
See, Sherry just point out the Wimbledon agenda against Austrians and the greatest player of all time, Dominic Thiem. Not even putting him court.
How many casual British tennis fans have heard of Dominic Thiem?
I feel like by now quite a lot. Like, he was world number 3, won the US Open. His record against Rafa, Novak, and Roger, since 2019 has been ridiculously good. Like, better than anyone. So I would say most people have heard of them. I don't know how big his following is over here, but like, he's a very popular player across the world. So,
who's the owner of the Team Twitter account? Do we know who they are and what country they're in? Are they Australian?
They are Australian.
Oh, Australian. Okay.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Which, let's face it, I wouldn't be surprised. Team probably won a few fans over in Australia with that 2020 final run.
God, that was amazing. I loved that run. I was so gutted I lost that final. But still.
I still haven't watched that final. I assume it was a good match because I again, early mornings didn't have access to the match. Hey, Miles.
Miles is here. Yes. Tsitsipas hasn't played on centre court either. Oh, But he's also never been a top 50 player at Wimbledon.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the centre court scheduling is very much based on who's done well at Wimbledon before that people will recognise.
Well, Brits, mate. Brits is the first one.
Yeah.
John, what do you mean brutal from Jethro? What did I say?
I'm not. You're gonna have to.
I don't know what I said that was brutal there.
No one. Jethro is spending most of this stream saying stuff and then not remembering what it is. I don't think he knows what's coming out of his mouth half the time.
What do you want about? I've said plenty of good stuff.
You do. Your predictions are pretty good. Like, you know what you're talking about when it comes to actually on-court tennis, isn't there? Now back on court as Auger-Aliassime trying to serve state in the match. Fritz held for 5-4 and Félix Auger-Aliassime finishes it at the net. There were some good rallies between Félix and Fritz. I don't think we commentated on much of them, but that was a good opening rally for this point with a great forehand volley from Félix Auger-Aliassime to win the match. I find it annoying that I have to keep referring to Félix by his first name because his surname is way too long to keep going. Like everyone else, you just call by their surname unless you're a fan. And I suppose actually, most top players you probably refer to by their first names. Oh, full list from Vanch on 16 active players.
We're getting a lot of stats from. I think they're having a stat off in the comments. Vanch and it's hard to keep up.
They're just showing off now. Maybe we should just give them a room.
Yeah, they can have their own stat party.
Go on Talking Tennis Plus Talking Tennis
+1. Talking Tennis BBC 2.
BBC. That'd be great. Hey,
Tom doesn't explain what I said that was brutal. I'm waiting on his response.
James Ward, great player.
Davis Cup legend.
Davis Cup legend, Wimbledon legend as well. He got some good ones at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And Queens actually. I remember having an epic against Adrian Manarino one year at Queens. That's when I really first recognised him. But yeah, playing in Britain or for Britain, he was a monster.
He was amazing. We were talking about him on the stream last night. Actually, I don't know how he came up, but
yeah, because he's the one who beat John Isner. That he was like instrumental in getting that momentum built to that 2015. Was it 2015 or 2016? He beat Isner.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that wasn't the year Britain won.
Yeah, no, it was the year we won.
No, we won in 2015.
Maybe it was 2015 then. I don't know.
But that would have been, if it was, and he was instrumental in building that momentum that took us to, obviously Andy played and did most of the work, but this is not a British tennis channel, by the way, but be prepared for some British bias, because British commentators are annoying like that. We just love our players so much.
I don't. I'm not biased.
Okay, you're not the biggest Dan Evans fan.
I like Dan Evans. I love his game.
Okay, sorry, it's someone
and
else.
He seems like someone really fun to hang out with.
Sorry, it's someone else doesn't like Dan Evans. I've got you mixed up.
A lot of people don't like Dan Evans, and I think he gets a lot of unnecessary hate personally, but each their own. By the way, Félix 2015. Oh, and it's a gorgeous forehand winner. 5-all. Game on. As we were saying about Wimbledon's centre court scheduling, they prioritise British people and people who've done well at Wimbledon. If your name's Andy Murray or Roger Federer, you get centre court no matter what's happened. You'll always get centre court for life if you're Federer or Murray. If you're Coco Gauff, you're going to get centre court for life because they love her. They absolutely love her. And
so does that mean that now Roger's retired, a load of other players have now gone, yes, I now have a slot's opened up for centre court?
Well, they better hope they're not playing on the same court as Djokovic, because Djokovic was obviously going to get centre court. Sorry, same day as Djokovic.
Fair. Yeah. So I think we should probably focus on the match a bit more now, because it's in a very tight spot as Fritz serves amazingly to open up for 15 love. As Fritz goes to serve, goes up the middle, but way out.
Wayward serve.
I could serve like that.
Probably not at that pace, though. No, to be honest.
Probably not at that pace. No. Good return from Félix on the second serve, but Fritz is actually doing well to try and dictate with the backhand. But Félix is going at him with his forehand. They're moving each other around. Félix is definitely pushed out wide though, and Fritz gets the point. 30 love.
He tried to run around his backhand a bit too eagerly there, and didn't put himself in a good position for a cross-court inside-out forehand.
Fritz was definitely the better one at maintaining court position during that rally.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I think his footwork's just got so good over the time, over the last year or so, Fritz.
Yeah, he's improved so much in so many areas, and they're probably small areas. A lot of people are agreeing with us from earlier that we think that Novak Djokovic would prefer to play Taylor Fritz in the semi-final. Completely agree. It's 40 love to the American now. Ashley's convinced it's going to be a tiebreak. Well, let's see how Félix gets through this next service game.
I think they'll both hold. I think I'll go with what I said earlier, and we'll see a tiebreak in the first set.
First set tiebreak. Okay. Well, Ashley's asking for scores. Okay, Jethro, if it goes to a tiebreak, I just need to quickly reach for something behind the camera, so I'm going to disappear off for 5 seconds. How do you see that score going?
I'm going to say Fritz to win the tiebreak 7-5 is what I would say.
I agree. I'm going to say Fritz wins, but by a bigger margin. I'm going to say 7-3. Interesting. Jethro, who's the best player you've seen play live? Oh, Ashley, that's the question. Are you talking at all, on TV and live, or are you talking just in person? Because are you a Novak?
There's a big difference.
Yeah,
because if we're talking about all the tennis I've watched my whole life, even as an Nadal fan through and through, Djokovic is the best tennis player I've ever seen in my life personally. I've never seen someone so complete and unbeatable at times, and so many times in their career. I know, sure, he's giggling like a little girl in the backstage at hearing me say that, but
I will not come down from my Federer fandom. I will say that peak Federer in the mid 2000s was as good as Djokovic is now in the was in the 2010s.
We're talking recent years. I think, I don't know, in the last 10 years, I would say up there is team's peak level, and that hit across 2019 and 2020 is the most electric and explosive and intensely good tennis I've seen in my life. I would say for sure. Djokovic, he was, he had what, 9, just shy of 10,000 points, and is still ranked third in the world. He was ridiculous back then too. So there's certain levels of tennis which, there are some days where I think teams win against Rafa in Barcelona in 2019. Probably the best clay court performance in a best of 3 match, solo performance, I think, ever, personally.
Okay.
But, there's a lot, there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, there are a lot to choose from. I think actually just naming the big three as 3 players, I mean, they're hard to choose between, let's be fair, especially on their favoured surfaces. So, Taylor Fritz is love 15 on Félix Auger-Aliassime serve. So we're obviously doing tie-break scores. There's a what if we may not get there. Fritz is 3 points away from winning this set potentially. Félix goes out wide with serve.
Nick's trying to get our viewers all worried about Félix, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm not trying to get anyone worried. I'm just trying to, not set expectations. So let's see how this one goes. It's 15 all, and
good serve.
That why. Great job.
Serving really nicely when he needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see how this next point goes. I think yes, Félix may be starting to motor a bit, but towards the game, maybe not in the match. Maybe I've been overly pessimistic, but it's just based on the early parts of the match and Félix being a bit more vulnerable in certain aspects. As he goes up the middle, Fritz gets it back in, forehand Fritz, forehand up the line Félix, backhand Fritz, backhand Félix, backhand Fritz, forehand up, inside out Félix, backhand Fritz, off the line, just get the line. Really good on the forehand. Fritz eventually breaks down.
Félix hitting his forehand really nicely throughout that rally. And when he's dictating the points with his forehand, it feels like Fritz is going to be the one to crack.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas if Fritz is dictating the point with his backhand, it feels like Auger-Aliassime is going to be the first one to crack. So it's very, very close. And 2 points to take us into a first set tiebreak.
Yeah, absolutely. So Félix gets ready, serves off the top of the net.
Second serve. Holds it in. Lovely forehand winner. Tiebreak it is. So, Nick, I have a question. Is Félix Auger-Aliassime the greatest tennis player to have been born on August the 8th?
No. Nice try. Nice try, Jeff.
Nearly got him.
No. Don't try and catch me out with details of my favourite player. The great Roger Federer. Who maybe isn't statistically the GOAT, but I will still fight that. But I will still fight that corner.
I think they're all so amazing. You could make a very strong case for all 3 of them.
For sure.
Is my point of view. Easily.
Okay. I'm intrigued by your question, Miles.
I'm excited for this.
Oh, that's interesting. What's
really rushed him on the backhand there.
That's unusual to rush Fritz like that at the backhand. It's already 1-0 to Félix Auger-Aliassime.
Here we go.
Is the wisdom about to be incorrect? Is Félix Auger-Aliassime going to come back from a rocky start to win this opening set tiebreak?
Or is he going to do a Medvedev and lose a 4-1 lead? But then that tiebreak yesterday was just manic. I loved every second of it. It was amazing.
The second set one, right?
Yeah, no, the third one was god awful. Terrible.
Yeah. Well, for Medvedev anyway.
Oh yeah, no, Tsitsipas played it brilliantly.
Good rally for this again from Felix and from Fritz. And they're going forehand to forehand, backhand Fritz, the backhand cross court.
When
he's missed it.
I was about to say, I think this is the most settled I've seen Felix this week, but yeah, there's still a bit of a frailty there on that backhand wing, but his forehand's working really nicely. It's just yeah, he's just not confident going toe to toe with Fritz on the backhand side at the moment.
I mean, when it's all flowing, I think that forehand is absolutely awesome.
It's amazing.
Absolutely awesome. Good on return of 17.
Very good response. But we're back on serve now, so it's anyone's game again in this tiebreak.
Yeah, could be. We're in for obviously tiebreak. Very early stage in the tiebreak. It's 2-1. So yeah, I think we're in for a treat potentially. So out wide, backhand back in place from Felix, and
he's
backhand again.
Wayward on the backhand again. I was saying last night during the second set tiebreak, I was like, I want both players to get to double digits points in this tiebreak. Not sure if I want that on this one. I think we've got a long way to go, so I don't need a ridiculously long first set tiebreak. Oh, that's clutch serving from Fritz. So 3-2.
Pressure's now on Felix.
Yeah, and two of his points have come from really poor backhand errors from Auger-Aliassime on routine balls. So he needs a big response, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So I think let's see how he handles. Well, let's face it, we're never going to know exactly what's going through a player's head. It's difficult to predict exactly how it's going to go, but he's had to stop. It looks like it's the crowd getting involved. We've got our televisions on mute because of the streams. I'm assuming the crowd is kind of, you can see the crowd's kind of applauding and getting involved now. Yeah,
I mean, I've last 2 days, I think I've had the entire tournament on mute because I've done three streams apart from the Nadal match today. Oh, and that was, he decelerated there. It's a bit nervous.
Yeah, you can tell he's tense.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell he's tense. And middle backhand Felix.
Another gift. Oh, Felix. Felix.
Fritz is very good at targeting that weakness, and especially while Auger-Aliassime is tight, that backhand is even more likely to fail.
See, John is roasting himself in the comments. These guys are better commentators than you at John Silk from his Talking Tennis account.
Wow. I think it's just because we've got great chemistry, Jethro.
We do have fantastic chemistry. We have a Fadal relationship, realistically, don't we?
Let's face it. Yeah. One day, one of us will be crying on a bench.
Yes, I'll hold your hand. Don't worry.
It's the RP English duo.
So how does Felix respond here? I mean, he needs a big serve, I think, just to settle the nerves. And that's exactly what he does. Finishes it off with the forehand. Very nicely done. Looks a lot more settled.
Could have got a bit perturbed with Fritz getting that back in, but he finished it at the net well.
Yeah, and he's looked so confident on that forehand today, as he always does at the moment. But yeah, I hope that those that's 3 backhand errors, and they really might come back to hurt him in this tiebreak.
Yeah, So Fritz.
Great block return on a good serve from Fritz. And Fritz's backhand is money as he goes down the line.
That's an amazing backhand.
Took it so
Definitely not giving up. So yeah, no, I'm watching that backhand again. Just that Fritz backhand doesn't look like he gets so much out of what looks like such a short swing.
Yeah. It seems to be a fairly new way of hitting like a two-handed backhand. I think he's just put it wide.
That looks wide to me. I know Felix is challenging, but that looks wide. It was a lovely passing shot attempt. It would be an absolute money shot if it had gone in.
Yeah. That
might actually be. I've seen.
Who knows?
Yeah, almost.
No, just wide. Good effort. But yeah, I mean the short backswing is it seems to be quite a popular thing to do for a bunch of these players now. I first saw Kyrgios kind of implementing it around 2016, 2017, I think. And since then I've seen, like Taylor Fritz doing it, TFO, Tommy Paul, like it's quite an American thing. It's just like, looks like they're just not getting any kind of big, backswing on it, and they're just stepping in, and it's really effective,
Right, set point for Taylor Fritz and the Félix Auger-Aliassime serve. It's a good opener and the tempo.
So your score prediction is out for the tiebreak score.
Yeah, well, might still be 7-4.
Yeah, that means we're in the middle.
But then of course, that relies on Felix losing the service point, because then if it gets to 6-5, it's on Taylor's serve.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how it's.
We don't like Kyrgios.
Here we go. Felix getting ready to serve, try and save another set point. Fritz is waiting, trying to seal this opening set. And Felix serves, body serve, backhand rally. And we know how backhand to backhand runners go over there to switch the forehand, going cross court. And Felix goes long on a forehand. Felix has gone long on a forehand.
I mean, that was about, I would say, 5 unforced errors from Felix in that set, maybe 4, in that tiebreak, maybe 4.
Yeah, it wasn't a great tiebreak from him, I don't think, other than the first point.
Yeah.
Could have got herself back into it, maybe, but is definitely the more fragile one of the two right now, and that tiebreak highlighted it. So 7-4, bang in the middle. But we were right in that Fritz definitely felt like the stronger player going into that and thoroughly deserves that set.
For sure. No, he played a fantastic opening set, actually. Seeing a comment from Vance saying he leans into it really well. Unbelievable ball striker is Fritz. Vance, let me know who you think is the best ball striker on tour right now. There's a few names out there which I think will probably come up. What about you, Nick?
Depends on how you define best. Like,
I would say like cleanest, purest ball striker. It doesn't have to be like the best player, the most consistent player, but whoever strikes the ball like the cleanest regularly.
Would have to be like Djokovic for me.
Yeah.
Probably the boring answer. Everyone who does it better.
It's an incredibly boring answer from you, Nick, especially from a Roger fan.
Hey, just because I'm a Roger fan doesn't mean I can't concede that the other two guys are pretty good. Welcome, Shrihari. What did you make of that set?
Well, so far it's in a way going the way I expected it to. I'm not sure if Felix will just lose it from here or he'll make a comeback, but Fritz is definitely in a commanding position, I would say.
Yeah, I think it was a very, very strong set from Fritz.
Yeah, he was the more solid player easily. And obviously, I think the stats would also suggest the same. If you look at the unforced errors, same winners for 5 less unforced errors for Taylor Fritz. He's just been more clutch on serve. He's just been more solid. Hasn't missed much either. I think Felix just played a poor tiebreaker, really. Just too many errors that cost him.
Quick side note, Miles said Sinner, sweet contact on the ball almost every time is exactly what I said. earlier.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think he is the best ball striker on tour, personally.
Yeah, Sinner is an extremely good ball striker, and especially I'm a huge fan of how early he takes the ball. It's really nice to see. It's just amazing.
I'm really
I
sad
think
that
we
he's not in
described
Turin,
the-
actually.
Yeah, we kind of described the Sinner Alcaraz rivalry as ice and fire, right? So that's something that's we hope we get a lot more matches from that rivalry next.
Oh, we will.
next season.
It's not even a
We
matter of
will.
hoping.
We should.
We will.
I'm just hoping Sinner holds up really well physically. This season was just such a shame that he was injured as often as he was because he was playing some amazing tennis. Anyway, so the second set is underway. I will dip out once again. I'll see you at either the end of this set or the end of the match, depending on the result.
See you later.
Yep.
Ooh, and Felix starts the second set with a double fault. I wonder how much that tiebreak's gonna take it out of him a bit.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Is he going to have a post tiebreak slump or a post tiebreak bounce? You usually get that from the winning player having a slump, but
yeah, and I just don't know. I'm still struggling to know where to think Felix is really at, with regards to these kind of stages in matches. Yeah, like he's not far off Fritz. Fritz was the better player just about in the first set, and then he played the much better tiebreak. But if he keeps serving well, he's going to have so many chances. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A really good point. Yeah, I think. Well, it's 15-all anyway, so he's doing it. Tell you what, Jethro, I think everyone's tired of me hearing my play-by-play. Why don't you do the play-by-play for this game?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump into this rally. We've got a nice cross-court forehand from Felix. Goes down the line. Very nice forehand. Fritz retrieves it, and it's gone long. Really nice forehand from Felix there. Took it nice and early. On the rise. And that's when he's playing his best tennis, is when he's being super, super aggressive. Yeah, more of that. More of that from the Canadian, for sure. So 30-15. Felix makes another first serve. Fritz gets it back on the forehand. Gets it to Felix's backhand and he pushes it along again. And that's a lot of missed backhands in the last 5 minutes.
Lots of missed backhands in the last 5 minutes. Lot of missed backhands in the last hour, I would say.
Yeah, but crucially in the last 5 minutes. But yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It's definitely, I hadn't realised, because I haven't properly watched a Felix match, like really paying attention until today. And I hadn't realised how much of a liability his backhand was.
Yeah, it's been my biggest concern recently. I just don't think anyone could really expose it in his title run.
That's true. I think, he comes off a very good player. Like, he has some of his final losses have definitely been down to match management and nerves. But he's got so much better with that. I definitely, because we've been talking about him with Alcaraz and Sinner before Rune arrived on the scene, and Musetti and Baez waiting in the rings. But
Draper and Stricker as well, right up there as well.
But while we were talking about those being the big three, I definitely, even though I really like his game and like Felix as a person, I think he's the nicest guy on tour. Apart from Dominic Thiem. He's up there.
I would actually say Felix is the nicest guy on tour for sure. I don't think there's lovely forehand.
Shot.
Lovely. Yeah, I think Felix is the nicest guy on tour. I don't think I can think of anyone else really.
Because Thiem always seems to be friends with everyone.
Thiem is lovely, but he's not. There was that whole thing with the challenger players. Not he was one of the players who didn't want to give challenger players prize money because he said he wanted. He basically, I think he wanted to know which players were getting it because he wanted the ones who worked the hardest to get it, or something like that. it was a bit messy. And he's still friends with Zverev, I think. So, that's his worst. That's his worst trait for sure.
Yeah. Shahiri's saying that Ruud and Hurkacz are up there for nicest guy on tour. Yeah, I'd agree.
Oh yeah, Hurkacz is just an angel as well. Like I love him. He's so sweet and he's really funny.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But yeah, with Felix, I was saying before, was even though he's got all these qualities, and I think he will probably have a lot of success if that is to be the big three, and Rune doesn't get his nose stuck in there. Felix is definitely going to be the third man in the rivalry with Alcaraz and Sinner.
Yeah, and I think Rune has kind of blown people away recently. Recently with this kind of insane run of form. He was pretty talked about last year as a future star. He took a set off Djokovic at the US Open. Was very similar. It was kind of a very similar rise to Brooksby. And they both had really serious cramp issues at the same time, really, last year. And then Rune, beat Zverev in Munich and won the title there. And then he beat Tsitsipas at the French Open. So Rune's been around this year quite a bit anyway. So this has kind of been coming. But the serious leap in quality in his tennis has been really significant. And it's the serve that's, elevated. And he's already got a better serve than Alcaraz out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, we definitely need to put him in conversation for the future. And maybe he's more likely to make a big three with Sinner and Alcaraz, which could get chaotic. He could be the Djokovic out of those three in terms of probably the least popular. I'm not going to say least liked, because Djokovic is quite likable when you really get to know him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's getting quite a big cult following. Oh, and Taylor very sloppy on that backhand volley. It's gone wide. He's getting quite a big cult following on Twitter, Auger-Aliassime. I don't know if some of it I think is kind of sarcastic. Yeah. But people love a bit of controversy, and I said recently as well. I think even if you don't like Rune's, kind of attitude or the way he behaves or whatever, it's good to have someone like him coming through with these young guns, because you've got Sinner and Alcaraz and Felix, who are so nice and so humble and really, really sweet. You kind of need a fiery character in the mix there with them. Otherwise, it's just all nice people, and you're like, well, I don't want any of you to lose, so this is a bit crap.
Sure, he's telling me to be careful. Hey, I was saying nice things about Djokovic. I think he's a likable guy who's misunderstood. But I know he's not as popular as Federer or Nadal with people who don't pay as much attention. Even though if I had the choice of having hanging out with one of the two, any of those three, I would pick Federer for obvious reasons. But Ashley's question, no, I do like Novak, unless you're telling me not to like.
I am backing Nick up. Nick's very respectful of Novak.
I think Novak is a great guy who, I don't think he gets the love that he deserves. He's not my favorite, but
I would say some of his fans take their love for him a bit too far and treat him like a god.
You could say the same about Nadal fans, though.
Oh yeah, well, all big three fans have their nutcases.
And I'm the biggest nutcase Federer fan out there.
Oh, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I mean, there's people who don't even watch tennis anymore because Federer's retired. It's proper worship.
Yeah. We're in an interesting game, by the way, because Felix has taken control and Fritz has gone wild with a forehand at 15-40. It is break point. The first break points of this match are for Félix Auger-Aliassime. And we probably would not have said that even half an hour ago. So we are at a very, very critical point as we talk about fandoms. And there was a comment that flashed up earlier that I wanted to respond to, and I've forgotten what it was. But we'll come back to it maybe after this. Fritz serves into the net. Thank you, Shahiri. You're too kind.
Good to know you don't belong in a nut house. Oh, and Felix goes long on the return. Is Andy Murray better than Rafa on grass? I would probably say so. 2 Wimbledon titles.
They're both on
But
two
then
Wimbledon
Rafa's, they
titles.
both got to, yeah, but more recent, I guess. I don't know.
I think it depends on when in their careers, as Fritz goes out wide on the serve and it's unreturnable. So he's saved
Yeah,
2 break points.
2007 to 2011 kind of Rafa.
Yeah.
Probably maybe a bit better, but it's very tight. I think you can make an argument for either of them. And Murray's been really good at Queens as well.
Most years, Andy Murray is beating Nadal on grass at their, like in the 2010s. Had they played on grass, Murray would have definitely avenged some defeats that he suffered, because Nadal's beaten him 3 times at Wimbledon.
Oh, sure, Felix.
Jethro, do you want to try and describe that?
I mean, Fritz was all over Felix in that point. Came in off a really good approach shot. Felix dug out a nice backhand, and Fritz just dropped the volley. Absolutely perfect. And Felix just scoops it up and gets it past him. Break point number 3.
That was Murray-like.
That was really nicely done.
Lovely shot from Felix. It's another break point opportunity. Fritz goes out wide on the serve and saves another break point. It's unreturnable.
This is quite an interesting game here.
Oh, yes.
I was saying you have to get one of those returns in play of your Felix. Yeah. You got to just get your racket on it.
I think it's more down to Fritz serving well than Felix not being able to return.
Yeah, Felix not happy.
Must be really good.
Felix hitting a ball slightly with a bit of anger is, as you know, a full-on rage for him. Another good serve from Fritz, and it's a very good hold. That's a very, very impressive set of first serves from Fritz to get out of trouble.
Yeah. Is that coming up? There you go. You can see that's the shot Felix hit.
Yeah.
Jethro and I were going mad about.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Ashley said, "What do you guys think? Can Big Jack Draper be the next Andy Murray?" I don't know if
that was it. Yeah. That was it.
I was going to respond to that as well.
Yeah, for sure. The answer is, I think for me, Draper plays very differently to Murray. He's got I think his game's much more aggressive. We do have some somewhat injury concerns with him. I'm not entirely sure. His body development is definitely holding him back in some ways. He's getting injured a lot. He's getting better as he matures, but it could be a concern long term. If you mean Andy Murray in terms of winning Wimbledons, maybe, but I wouldn't put that expectation on him. I definitely think he could be top 10, or he will be top 10. Whether he's like we see him in major finals consistently, I'm not fully convinced. I mean, he's definitely not being put in Vanch's sort of farms contingent.
No, Vanch has his own requirements for that list.
They have to have certain
second week of a major and an ATP 500 or more.
That's mine as well, to be fair. Yeah. And Drake.
I don't think Musetti belongs in there personally. I know Vanch will argue with me on this, but I don't think Musetti belongs in there.
He's definitely the 5th man on this. He could sneak a slam.
I think Musetti can play really well for a week or two, but I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the level and consistency of like Alcaraz, Rune, and Felix personally. But I agree. His game is really, really hard to. I think Damien was saying this the other day. His game is really hard to execute, and to get that all right consistently is going to be really tough. But I would love it if he, does well. He's really fun to watch. But
yeah, Musetti, a bit like some of the French players we've seen, like Gasquet and Monfils in some ways. Maybe he'll have a little more success than them, though. I agree with you. I don't see Lorenzo Musetti being a consistent contender. And I'm going to say the same about Jack Draper, actually.
See, I'm interested to see. Yeah, I think Draper, for me, my main concern is the way the body holds up as well. But he does have a very, very good game, and he's got a huge serve. He can attack really well, but his his defense out of his backhand corner I really spotted that when he was playing against Team in Winston-Salem. Team was pelting his backhand with this, Team's forehand, and defends really well out of there. And I think that's a very good thing to have, especially if you've got a two-handed left-handed two-handed backhand for sure.
Big point.
Yeah, and it's gone sprayed wide from Felix, and he does not want to face break points after just missing out on 3.
It's the boomer, it's not quite a boomerang break, is it? Because it's like break and then break straight back. But having break points after saving break points, we need a name for that. But he's not break point. It's 15-30. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how this point plays out as Felix bounces the ball. He's getting ready. Here we go. Felix lifts the ball up, goes down the middle and wide, goes wide, and he's going to be frustrated with that. That's not what he needed right now. Fritz is going to be eyeing up that second serve return, hoping to hit up with his own set of break points because he hasn't had that opportunity yet this match. And Felix goes into the second serve, out into the body, backhand Fritz again, really off the feet almost. Felix is now dictating with the forehand as he tries to do, goes up the line. Fritz scrambles the backhand, forehand cross court. Felix can't get it.
What a succession of forehands from Felix there, honestly. Absolutely point perfect there.
That was Felix's dream point almost.
Yeah, that's how Auger-Aliassime at his best. If he's not made his first serve, that's as good a second serve point as he can play.
Yeah,
just absolutely bossing it on the forehand side.
We are definitely seeing all aspects of Felix today, the good and the bad.
This is interesting. Baseline points 1 in set 2, 9 for Felix and 3 for Fritz. Obviously, we're only into the third game, but that's a very promising statistic if he is to, hold here and go forward.
Which he's looking good for because he just aced Fritz for 40-30. Is Felix Auger-Aliassime just pushing momentum a little bit? And are we? Because if this continues, he's getting the second set and we're going to a decider.
I hope so. I want a third set. We deserve it. And I think everyone wants to hear our commentary for another 2 hours, so everyone wins.
Come on to the ultimate British commentary duo of talking tennis.
And nicely done by Felix. He looks pumped. As he holds for 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, you may surprise viewers to know that Jethro and I have never actually met in person, mostly because we live in completely different parts of the country.
We do. Well, I don't think I'm that far from you. I could come visit you for dinner if I wanted to, I'm sure.
You could. You'd probably die afterwards because you don't want to try my cooking. But no, to be fair, actually, you do come up sort of not all the way up to me, but you do go up to Birmingham quite frequently.
Yes.
Have you ever thought of doing the Birmingham WTA 250?
No, but I might next year. I think I'm definitely going to try and get to Eastbourne and Queens next year. I'm already definitely going to be at Wimbledon regardless. I'm
going to Wimbledon 100%. I need to decide. I can't make up my mind when I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to... Yeah, I don't really know because I work like such a topsy-turvy schedule, working in sports. So it's like work weekends sometimes, and then I'll get days off in the middle of the week, which is perfect for Wimbledon. And my boss this year gave me like a couple of days off at the start of Wimbledon, and I just sat on the sofa and just watched
nice.
endless tennis.
I'm in an interesting position because obviously I don't work in sport. But I am one of the only people that sort of that I have to coordinate holidays with who doesn't have kids. So you can imagine trying to get time off in July is a bit competitive.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun at all.
I managed to get it last year, and I didn't actually make it down to Wimbledon because I was going to something else. Now I wish I had, but I was watching all the chatting with you and Hanya about getting tickets, and it's like, I could. No, I can't really justify the expense. But
it was really fun when I met up with the popcorn night. So bumped into found Hanya, and we watched Tommy Paul's match, and then we were like, oh, let's go meet up with Scott and Claire. the Murray Musings gang, well, 2/3 of the Murray Musings gang. And then we were like, oh, where are they? And then we turn around, they were literally just stood right behind us. We're like, perfect.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm going to go. Chat, are you planning on going to a major this year? Are you planning on going to Wimbledon? Are you planning on going to the French? If you're Australian, are you going to the Australian Open? If you're going to go to the US Open, tell us, which slam are you planning on visiting in 2023? Or slams, if you have the money for it. Yeah, agreed.
I think
agreed.
Miles went to the US this year. I imagine he'll go next year.
Yeah. I can never decide which slam that isn't Wimbledon I most want to go to. Because they've all got
for me. I want night session tickets, Rod Laver Arena.
Yeah. What if Kyrgios is playing?
Then I'll sell my tickets to some rowdy idiot outside the stadium and go get drunk in the city.
Yeah. I think
but they usually put him on Margaret Court or John Cain Arena anyway, so they don't like him on Rod Laver. So
yeah, I think the big thing about Australia for me is I'm not the biggest plane fan. I'm not scared of flying. It's just being on a plane I don't like.
Okay.
And
that's a long time to be on a plane.
Yeah. I will be fine. Like, I'm fine for most of it, but it's not my favorite thing. Rocket forehand.
That was a huge forehand from Fritz to hold to love. So he's certainly not giving anything up here.
So going to Australia, I think the tennis would be the only thing I would like from the trip. Whereas I think if I went to the US or the Roland Garros, I'd probably find something else or other people.
So our producer Shrihari is trying to get the Nadal fans angry by sharing this tweet from a Djokovic fan account, which is incredibly unprofessional behavior.
Yeah. Shrihari, okay. I need to go and find a tweet from my Goaties RF to balance it out.
Yeah.
Who's the most
or just for Nadal tennis? Just for Nadal tennis ones.
Yes.
Djokovic on Rod Laver Arena at night on your bucket list night session. Phillips Chatrier would also, Please.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that could be. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. We just need to balance. We just need a bit more balance, Shrihari. It's fine. We've declared our interests ahead of time. Everyone knows where we're coming from, and you'll be pleased to know that, as I said, we have represented on this stream. We have a Djokovic fan producing it. I'm a Federer fan, and Jethro is a Nadal fan. As a great overhead from Felix to get to 30 love on his service. So we are balanced here.
Yeah. And I can't even enjoy that Nadal win over Fritz at Wimbledon because he, withdrew in the next round and gave Kyrgios a walkover. So, it's a bittersweet victory, really.
In theory, if Nadal had pulled out or Fritz had finished the job, how do you think that Fritz-Kyrgios match would have gone?
I think Fritz would have won. I think Kyrgios had a ridiculously easy draw. Maybe Fritz would have lost because if he can't finish off, Nadal was hitting his forehand insanely well. Nadal was hurt, but he was just crushing his forehand. But Fritz was playing really, really good tennis that tournament. And Kyrgios's draw, he had Paul Jubb in round one, and he was a point away from, Jubb having, be able to serve for the match in the fifth set. And then who else did he get? He got Tsitsipas, who's never beaten a top 50 player at Wimbledon.
Got Garin.
Got Garin, who's a clay court player in the quarterfinal. You got Nakashima, who was in his kind of first full year on tour, who hasn't got a lot of grass experience, got dragged to 5. So, and his best performance was probably against Djokovic in the final and lost in 4. So, I probably would have been backing Fritz for that match.
For as chaotic a mess as that match was. By the way, Felix has held for 3-2. For as chaotic a match as that was, I did think Kyrgios played it well.
Tsitsipas won.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. No, he played really well. I I don't really see it as like I don't see Tsitsipas as a big threat at Wimbledon at all. Because I mean, as I said, he hasn't beaten a top 50 player, but Kyrgios played great that day, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
Garin was the quarterfinal because it would have been De Minaur if De Minaur hadn't horrendously choked against Garin in his fourth round.
And who knows, De Minaur might have won that match because doesn't De Minaur have a good matchup against Kyrgios? I
don't know. I mean, Kyrgios played him in Washington or something, and he smoked him.
Okay, I've got it the wrong way around then. Yeah,
De Minaur's performance against Jack Draper in the second round was probably my favorite match of the entire tournament, actually, or one of them.
Oh, okay.
And that level of tennis was unbelievable, so good. And like De Minaur was like hitting 130 plus on most of his first serves, and like they were just smacking the ball at each other. It was incredible.
Were you not on court for that Norrie Goffin 5-setter?
I was. I mean, that was my favorite because I was there, but I think watching on TV, like Norrie Goffin was amazing. Such a good atmosphere as well.
There weren't any matches at Wimbledon that everyone was like, "Oh, this is a classic," or the quality was great all the way through. But I thought that like the Norrie Goffin match was that your status with plucky Brit. A strong Wimbledon performance, and it was deep in the tournament. It was a good news story for British sports fans.
It was amazing. Like they made like there's clearly a
really good match.
Yeah, like the crowd was pretty full for most of the match, but you could tell that there was still a good chunk of people who were watching Djokovic v Sinner on Henman Hill or Murray Mound, if you would. And by the fifth set, there was not a spare seat in the entire court. You know, everyone was just screaming for Norrie, and the atmosphere was just unbelievable. I was so happy to be there.
I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought both, by the fifth set, both were playing pretty well. And Goffin can play really nice tennis when he's on.
Goffin is gorgeous to watch live. Like, because I really wanted Norrie to win, obviously, but like I was like he was playing stunning tennis. Like his passing shots, his movement is unbelievable. Goffin. That's one of the things you see up close is how well he moves. Norrie's net clearance on his backhand is criminally low. Like it was like, and his net clearance was actually a big difference, a turning point in the match because he was kind of hitting about here above the net. And he was, down 2-1 or whatever, and he just lowered it even more, and he's just like barely skimming the net, and that gave Goffin no sit up on the forehand. It was an amazing tactical change, and it was just like it gave me a huge appreciation for Norrie's game even more. Oh, that's a very nice back. Speaking of backhand net clearance, that's a gorgeous shot from Fritz.
Yeah, I mean, Fritz versus Norrie is an interesting rivalry right now because they're
Vince loves that.
Yeah, they're going. That their rivalry is kind of, one gets one and one gets the other, and they do seem to match up quite well against each other, especially the backhand to backhand. That's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, they do. They enter a lot of stalemates in rallies where it's just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna miss. Are you? And then they just break each other down.
It's like the quick draw, like who's gonna miss. 3-3, by the way, as Fritz holds to love.
He's since facing break points. I don't think he hasn't dropped a point on serve. Fritz. He's
playing very well at the minute.
He is. Shrihari on Goffin's ground strokes. Chef's kiss. Yeah. I mean, mate, like Goffin's backhand is so nice. Like one of the prettiest two-handed backhands in the men's game, I would say. So good.
I don't know, because I'm trying to think. Best two-handed backhand in the men's game to look at, because obviously Djokovic is to look at and to appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, Murray, when he was 2016, Murray's backhand was awesome. Actually, even before, up until 2016 as well. And they always had a lovely two-hander. I love Diego's two-hander because he just puts his whole body into it and just absolutely whacks it. I love his backhand. Medvedev's backhand. I love watching Medvedev and I really like him, but I don't like his backhand. It's like
Medvedev is
awkward.
Like Medvedev is a weird watch for me because I really like him and his personality, but his game is just so odd to watch.
It's so strange.
But it works, and that's the main thing.
Yeah. It's so similar with, I mean, Norrie's backhand is completely bizarre as well, but I gained a big appreciation for it watching it live, I think. But it's very odd.
Yeah. I find it so weird how high up the racket he holds his left hand.
Ooh. Yeah. I think Felix has just pushed that what? No,
Double
he made
fault.
it. Oh no, he hit forehand winner. He just made it. Lovely shot.
Yeah, I know. I always like that's the first thing I think when I see Norrie hitting a backhand is how high up his left hand is.
Yeah. It's like a stiff like motion as well. It's bizarre.
It's not how I would coach it. Murray in 2012 versus Murray. Yeah, no, I agree. Murray 2012 was really fun to watch. He just wasn't that as successful. Whereas Murray 2016, I think, managed to find a way of optimizing his game.
Yeah, there was one match in particular that stood out to me for Murray 2016 where I saw how complete he was at that point. It was against Dimitrov 2016 US Open. I don't know if you saw that match.
I wouldn't have watched any of that US Open because I didn't have time.
Yeah, I mean, Dimitrov.
I was a poor student at the time.
Yeah, I mean, Murray, gosh, I mean, like, you know, he was like, I think he's hit like 137-mile-an-hour serve. Like, I think he might have hit 140 that day, actually. Like, it was insane. Like, nice net play from Felix there.
Really set up and actually set up by some really strong backhands that had Fritz kind of scrambling to get them up. Those are the best backhands he's hit for a while.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the way that they're matching up against each other. It's very nice.
Yeah. It's definitely been an interesting one. Like, we've got some decent rallies out of it. I mean, we've been mostly chatting about tennis in general and ATP, but
Yeah.
Lovely. But like, we've had some really good rallies, and there's been a lot of tension as to who's going to come out on top. But at the same time, they're both serving well. Like, they're giving us some good quality tennis. Definitely. I think. The post Big Three era, I don't think we're going to see a dramatic drop in quality or enjoyment.
No, and there's a lot of guys to get very excited about for sure. I mean, obviously we're in a Big Two era now with Federer retired, and they're just not going to let go for as long as possible.
That's why we was talking about, like, Sinner could win any of them, like any of the slams. Like, he could, but I don't see anyone other than Djokovic or Nadal winning the first 3 slams of the year.
No,
and then
that's why I tweeted what I said the other day. I was just like, they're still going to win them, aren't they?
I fully expect Djokovic to win Australia because the patterns align for that.
I would be shocked, and it would take a serious kind of mental lapse against a very good opponent for him to not win in Australia, I think.
Good serve from Felix, ace to get it to 4-3 and change events. Yeah, so I completely agree. I think he's gonna be motivated to win. It'll be the 4th slam held in the 12 months since he turned 35, which Federer has won when that happened to him. He turned that age, and Nadal did. So I think Djokovic's prime set in his favourite slam to win maybe a 10th Australian Open.
It would be a 10th. And so Nadal won it when he was 35. Federer won it when he was 35 as well, did he?
Yeah.
And Djokovic was 35. Sweet. Yeah. So when Diego turns 35, that's when he'll win it. Thanks. Okay.
So not only that, but Federer also won Wimbledon when he was 35, and there's a pattern I'll explain afterwards.
Okay. No, I'm interested. I'm intrigued to hear that. I do, however, really want to spend the next 3 months or whatever teasing, or 2 months, whatever, teasing Shahiri saying that Djokovic is going to get a peaking Wawrinka in round 1. And it could happen, and he's going to have an absolute meltdown about it. Just know it.
Shahiri actually thinks Djokovic is going to beat Rafa at Roland Garros in 2023. Could happen. I wouldn't be surprised.
Very possible.
I have a sneaky feeling Rafa's going to get 15, and that's going to be his last slam.
See, I said that last year. I was like, I don't think Rafa wins 14. No way. And now I'm like, you know what? He probably will win 15. You know,
I think he's going to win 15, and that's going to be his last slam title.
Okay, well, Shuri, how's this for a sneaky feeling? Djokovic is going to lose in the first round of Wawrinka in Australia, and I'm not saying I want that at all, but it will It is possible. No, it's not.
And then I don't
There's
see
nowhere near that
Djokovic
level.
being dethroned from Wimbledon yet.
No, there are good grass court players, like Berrettini, by far the second best. Sinner's really put his hand up. Kyrgios is very good on the surface. Hurkacz is a good grass court player. Auger-Aliassime, great grass court player, but there is no one who can match him for 5 sets on grass at the moment.
Absolutely no one.
Time to rent the cave. Holger-Rune, oh gosh, I mean we haven't seen him on grass really.
True.
We'll see.
But his game did very well on grass. Did you? Judging by how he did in Paris, that's indoors, which is
I think he
comparable to speed.
Do well if he's, if he keeps his serving improving, and he's already very good, So if I can see him doing
Draper.
Draper, yeah, I mean Draper's game is really nice for the grass. I think I really want to see de Minaur make a quarterfinal or a semi-final. I think he deserves that.
Oh, for sure. I think he's always underperformed de Minaur in many ways. Like he's got multiple 250 titles, which for me puts him in like top rank in terms of class.
Yeah.
By multiple, I mean like more than the set. Like I would say if you win 3 250s in a year, which he did fairly early on in his career, that's a good sign. Yeah. So I want to see him do.
He can really put it together for a match, but then he just can't quite bring it. Like the level against Draper at Wimbledon was, I think, the second round. And I think out of all the second round matches I watched, that was by far the highest level anyone on the men's side had played at Wimbledon against Draper, easily. But he just was a shadow of that against Garin and whoever he beat next.
John, if you're watching, maybe have Draper versus de Minaur as one of your matches of the year to watch if you can find someone who saw it in the stadium.
2023 equals no one from the big three wins a slam. No, I don't see it. I wish I could get on board with I would love someone new to win. Of course I would, but I just don't see it happening. Until maybe the US Open.
I don't think anyone for the big three is going to win the US Open.
No.
In fact, I was going to. In fact, actually, do you know what? I will pick. If I'm going to go with a gut feeling, a sneaky feeling for the 2023 US Open, Jannik Sinner.
Interesting. I just can see something next year. But...
Contradicting everything I said earlier, but yeah. By the way, Fritz held serve for 4-4 in a minute and a half, and Felix finishes at the net for 15 love in his serve. So he's trying to get himself in an advantageous position in this set. We're in the business end now. We've been chatting away. They've been holding serve. We're into the end.
Gossip about tennis.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk in tennis.
Exactly.
We're not here to. I don't know what. We're not here to gossip golf or anything like that.
Yeah. And what Maya was really saying about de Minaur just doesn't have enough firepower. Unfortunately, everything else is top class. I do agree, but he has worked on that a lot. I don't know if anyone caught his match against Rafa at the ATP Cup, and Fritz goes along with that forehand. He played a match against Rafa at the ATP Cup in 2020, I think, and he was amazing. He just lost in the third set, but that was top class from de Minaur, and that opened my eyes to the aggression in his game. And then I saw it more against Draper as well, and. Yeah. Will he win a slam? Probably not. But I want him to do well because I really like what he brings to tennis.
I don't think he'll win a slam either. He might get to a semi-final if a draw opens up for him.
Yeah, and I think he's got the ability to beat really good players as well. If a draw happens and he's seeded to meet.
Didn't he get an amazing win against Medvedev at the ATP Cup? Was it Medvedev?
Oh, it might have been.
He beat a top 10 player in the ATP Cup.
Medvedev recently in Paris.
Yeah, but this before really went into rails. Good hold to love for Félix Auger-Aliassime to make it 5-4.
Very, very comfortable hold.
They're both serving really efficiently right now.
Yeah. I mean, Fritz has looked pretty much since that first game. He's looked untouchable on serve, really.
Yeah, that's true because it was a bit rocky for him, and like it's a good thing he saved those break points because right now it'd be what 6-4, no, maybe not 6-4, 6-3 Auger-Aliassime, 6-3 Auger-Aliassime if he hadn't held, and then we'd be in a very different position right now. Whereas, I mean, for me right now, I still think Félix is getting this set. It has that feel about it because he's playing so much better.
Correct, John. No break so far. And yeah, I agree. It has the feel that it's going to a third, but I don't know. I hope that's not just my optimism talking for a third set.
One set shootout for a place in semi-finals. This is practically a quarter-final, practically a slam quarter-final. Let's be fair.
Exactly. Yeah. Although obviously the ATP finals titles are relevant if Zverev wins it, obviously. But if anyone else wins it, it's an amazing achievement. Obviously, that's the rule. That's the rule.
Yes, if there are any Zverev fans here,
not even sorry.
I mean, Jethro's not sorry.
Sorry. Never will be.
Not many. You probably won't find many friends of Alexander Zverev on this channel.
No. Let's make myself a cup of tea. Will I return to the match being drawn once or? Well, I no idea, mate. I don't have a crystal ball. How? I don't know how I'm supposed to predict that.
Good grief! You need to get yourself a better equipment, mate. Come over to Britain where we've fine-tuned our kettles for all the tea that we drink. Right, Taylor Fritz is serving to stay in the second set. And they're into a rally.
Long on the backhand. It was a good. It was he had quite a leap on that top spin return from Félix and kicked up a lot.
That's not the start he wanted. That's going to ratchet up the tension a little bit. Here we go. This is interesting.
Goes long on the first serve. So second serve at love 15.
He's tight. He's tight. Here you go.
Oh, and he's done a sitsy shank.
This is Félix who's done this, trying to return on the forehand, completely shanked it.
That was one heck of a shank, crikey.
Oh, worst time to shank it. I think he knew he had a chance to set up love 30.
He did. And now he's given one of the best servers in the game right now, another first serve at 15-0, and that was 30-15.
Yeah.
And like this thing with the indoor courts, there's just such fine margins. If you don't take chances, you're toast.
I mean, I would say pretty much all of the top 20 are incredible servers.
For the most part, yeah, I'd agree actually.
Like, I know we talk about.
Oh
Carlos,
my goodness!
Oh my word!
Oh, Taylor's
bad miss.
Popped it long.
Is he?
That's poor from Taylor. Can't be doing that. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was not a good overhead at all. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, here we go.
Huge serve.
Yeah, it's not. I think the women's game, you can get away a little bit more with not having the best serve in the world and be highly ranked. Just because of the different variety of game styles out there. But
yeah,
the men's side, I feel like the serve is a critical part of a decent game.
And that's what Diego Schwartz. Another thing, like Diego got to world number 8, with not a terrible serve. He served pretty poorly this season, but like you go back and watch his highlights from 2018 to 2020, he didn't serve badly at all. He actually had a really good serve for his height, but
we're going to a great rally,
now,
which is trying to reach a slice. I don't know if that was the right shot, but
yeah, bad shot selection that.
So it's
but yeah, I do. I mean, I think what quite a few of the players who aren't tall are very good at is getting the most out of their serve. Goffan's only about 5'10", but he's not particularly tall, but his spot serving is exceptional. Nishikori was, that was kind of his main weakness, was his serve for sure. But he did all right with it. That's probably why he never won a slam. Nishikori was the serve, I think. He had a fantastic game off the ground. Brilliant ball striker, read the game beautifully, but his serve just wasn't enough to get enough 3 points. PCB, I think, is another guy who gets a lot out of his serve because he doesn't have a naturally big frame, but he can serve really well. So yeah, I would agree. Most of the top 20 are very good servers. I think in the last few years, it's gone up in the amount of good servers at the top of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, PCB did serve incredibly when he won the Montreal title this year.
Yeah, amazingly. Like, that's one of the things I think has been most impressive this year is his serve for me from him.
Yeah.
And I love that he's 31 and still getting better and winning his first Masters title. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's going to be around for a bit, I think.
Definitely. I still can see him winning the US Open Monday. I've not lost belief in that he can.
That would be like a weird name to see on the winners roster. Like, where did he come from?
Yeah, I know. It's just, he's good on those courts,
It's true.
Fell away against Khachanov this year, but yeah.
A lot of people did. Khachanov was playing pretty well this US Open, let's be fair.
Oh, yeah. No, Khachanov did, fully under semi-final sport. And Khachanov should be a Grand Slam semi-finalist. He's a Masters 1000 winner. He was one set away from
and he's a silver medalist.
And he's a silver medalist, exactly.
It's 15-all on the Félix Auger-Aliassime serve at 5-all.
Yeah, there's not a good forehand. Just then.
Do you want to talk us through this point?
Yeah, so Félix gets a good serve in. Fritz bats it back. Félix in on the net. And Fritz went for the lob, but it just goes long.
Yeah, I think he had him. Like he can't lob like Félix.
No, I think Fritz would have had him at that point if he got the lob in though.
Yeah, which would have
interesting. Set 1, Fritz was 90% on first serve points won, and Félix was 79. And set 2, they're both at 88% first serve points won.
So Fritz is more or less at the same level in this set compared to set 1, but Félix is definitely up. You can see.
We're talking a 2% drop, and we've had less games. So it's identical really. And Félix has gone up 9%, so that's a good increase.
And I feel like a lot of Félix's issues were from the early part of that first set and the tiebreak.
Yeah, but he's got himself out of a potentially sticky situation here. Goes long on the serve. So Fritz will have a look at a second serve at 40-15 here. Like Felix's service action takes really long. It's like he's doing it in slow motion, and then he just accelerates. It's a great second serve into the body, and he holds for 6-5.
Yeah. Wow. Tell you what, one of those breathtaking serves I remember, like a long retired player now, Andy Roddick. That serve. That snaps into action like a coiled spring. I've never seen a serve like it before.
I think it's probably one of my favorite service actions of all time. And his set, I love Roddick. Like, he was so cool, such a fun player to watch. Criminal that he did not win a Wimbledon title. I will never forgive Federer for winning that 2009 final.
Very unfortunate timing of his career.
Yeah, and a lot of them. There's just so many players who've run into either a Big 3 era or a Federer era.
Because if there wasn't Federer in the 2000s, pretty much Wimbledon finals for about 2 or 3 years would have been Hewitt versus Roddick. They would have had a little rivalry.
Yeah, unless Hewitt got another Karlovic in round 1 again as defending champion. God, that was a massive loss, 2003. You would have had, and I think. Yeah, I feel like the Big 3, if there would have been a Big 3 without Federer back then, probably would have been Hewitt, Roddick, and Safin, around that time. And then no Big 3. Murray's like the dominant player, isn't he? Probably.
Pretty much. There you go. Actually, here's a question. So obviously we were talking about Nishikori earlier, which kind of put him in line. If the big three weren't around, if they weren't a thing, who would have won Wimbledon 2019? Because in my mind, it would have been either Roberto Bautista Agut or Kei Nishikori, neither of whom are players you would expect to have a grass court title. Unless Sam Querrey randomly sneaks it. But like it was quite a random draw other than those three cruising through and crashing into each other.
So what the semi was Bautista Agut against Djokovic and Federer and Nadal, wasn't it?
Federer and Nadal, well, Nadal beat Nishikori and Federer beat Querrey in the quarters.
I think, peaking Querrey on grass is quite scary. As Djokovic fans will know from 2016.
Yeah.
And Murray fans from 2017 will also know. I would go Bautista Agut. That was probably one of the best years he played.
I've got the one around. Querrey lost to Nadal and Nishikori lost to Federer. As I was saying it, I was like, hang on, that's the wrong way around. But I just went with it.
Yeah, I'd probably say Bautista Agut would be the favourite for me. And he did well against Djokovic as well. Djokovic had to play really well to get past him.
Imagine an RBA Nishikori Wimbledon final, though. That would have just been
was so weird. It was so weird, but I'd love that because, when was the last time we didn't have a big four member in a Wimbledon final?
That would be 2002.
2002, when Hewitt won against...
Yeah. You're saying big four? Now Bandian.
Big four.
Hewitt versus Bandian.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, no one's serving volleying in this final. They're playing baseline rallies.
Yeah. One of the things I love the most about Leighton Hewitt is that he single-handedly ended serving volleyers. Like he was their destroyer. In that, especially that US Open final, he beat Sampras. Absolutely smoked him.
I mean, obviously, we're probably a bit young for this, but from what I understand, I would say Agassi probably ended it.
Oh yeah, okay, Agassi as well. I always view that US Open final as because he had a big rivalry with Sampras.
He did.
The way Hewitt dismantled serve and volley in that final at the US Open, I thought was I think that's quite a significant match in the history of tennis, personally.
Yeah, I suppose Agassi showed it could be done.
Yeah. And Fritz serving ridiculously here.
Yeah. We're going to another tiebreak, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to another tiebreak.
I wonder if we're going to get 3 tiebreaks today. That would be interesting.
I've got a book called The Greatest Tennis Matches of All Time by Steve Flink, which came out 10 years ago. So they've obviously missed a few matches since. So like Djokovic Nadal Wimbledon 2018 would probably be in there now if he republished it. But one of the matches was Sampras versus Agassi US Open quarterfinal 2001, which was 4 sets. Sampras won, but it was all tie breaks. Oh, big forehand went from Fritz.
Huge from Fritz. Do you know what? I actually haven't seen that match. I've only seen the highlights of the final from that tournament. But
which is obviously Hewitt.
Yeah.
It was a bit gutted for Sampras because he won that match, and by the sound of it was a good match. I find it weird that obviously you're talking a full setter as one of the all-time epics, but then Djokovic Nadal 2021 RG maybe in that category. But obviously it was pretty close for it to all be tie breaks. But for Sampras to win that match, and then I can't remember who he beat in the semis, but it was another decent player. And then it might have been Safin again, might have overturned. No, I don't think it was. Anyway, and then to lose to Hewitt in the final. And Hewitt's a really good player, and he definitely deserves 2 slam titles. Probably deserves more than that. I do find it weird in the context of that Sampras didn't quite get over the line.
What I can't wrap my head around with Hewitt is why he never did well on clay. I don't think he ever got past the 4th round of the French, maybe quarterfinal. I think he made one quarterfinal. He got to actually.
To ask him.
Have
to ask him. Probably just kept him running into you. He's much more used to the surface.
Yeah, maybe and like that thing. I think this is the thing with Hewitt's build and the way he played the game. If he was born in South America, I think he could have been at least a 2-time French Open champion.
I suppose, how did he move on play? Because like he definitely had the baseline game for it and the patience, but maybe his movement wasn't quite right. Anyway, we're into a long rally to open up the second set
And
tiebreak.
Fritz annihilates a forehand.
Felix always gets knocked off his feet.
Yeah, Felix nearly was sent flying from the speed of that. I wonder if we can get a speed gun on that shot. That was huge.
They were both really like neutral rally, and then Fitz just accelerates with the forehand, and he gets the early mini break.
I want to win a speed on that.
Felix got the early mini break in the first set. 20. Sorry,
20
I misread.
Ends it with an absolute bullet.
I misread the score. I thought it said 70. I was like, that was not 70 shots.
No.
Another great forehand from Fritz that Felix cannot do anything with. And it's 2-0.
This is God mode for Fritz right now. Felix has got to step up.
Taylor Fritz is a mini breakup, and he's got his first serve points one up to 90% for the match. He is flying. Oh, and it's another first serve in, and it's
back of the line. And then he goes wide.
He missed it on the backhand. To be fair, that was a tricky one because it looked like it landed on the line for him to pick up, and bounced quite high. So that would be a tricky one to get a hold of.
That's a great return from Felix. I'll give him credit for that one. But yeah, the Fritz backhand showing a bit of frailty there.
Yeah,
and we're back on serve. So
shot on the backhand. To be fair.
Here we go. Felix serving up 1-2. Right in the balance, this one. Oh, and he catches the back of the line and he's got an ace. I think Felix... Is Fritz challenging? Yes, Fritz is challenging. That was close.
Don't blame him, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought that was out initially, actually. And it is out. Oh, and it's a second set. It was a good challenge from Fritzy. Yeah, I did think that looked slightly long.
That's going to be gutting for Felix because he thought he was at 2-2.
Yeah, and that's the momentum gone now.
Yeah.
And needs to reset here.
Here we go.
It's a good second serve.
Bottom serve.
Bunts the backhand.
Go it. Go for it, Jethro.
Sorry, I thought you were taking it. And Felix goes wide with his cross-court backhand, and that feels significant after that first serve being called long.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, that's going to be deflating for him. He's got another serve to try and minimize the damage.
Yeah, and if he gets it to 2-3, it's just one mini break. It's anything's doable from there. But yeah, it feels like it's the balance is definitely tipped in Fritz's favor.
For sure. So Felix gets up to serve, goes for the body serve again, back in play from Fritz.
No mistake on the backhand this time, and he's kept it just to 1 point deficit. So
doing well. 2-2. Pressure back on Fritz.
Yeah.
Pressure is back on Taylor Fritz, the American. He is currently 4 points away from a place in the semi-finals of the ATP finals. We need a better name for this tournament.
What, then the NITO ATP finals?
Well, just as we go into a rally, finish my point in a minute, sort of forehand Fritz, and Felix is still scrambling for it.
Good. It was good defense from Felix, but yeah, just relentless forehand intensity from Fritz there.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like when you're talking about it, like, oh yeah, he got to the final of the ATP finals.
Oh, I know.
Or the ATP, like it's a bit weird to say.
Yeah, when I say like our team lost 2 ATP finals in a row, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, because we're getting to because we call the 1000s Masters, and if you look at the history of this event, it used to be called the Masters, like in golf or snooker.
Yeah.
And I actually think that was a far better name.
Mm-hmm.
the Masters. It sounds cool.
The Masters. It does sound cool. End of year Masters. I don't know.
Yeah, but then just don't call the level below Slam Masters. Call it something else.
Yeah, we need a whole rehaul. As Fritz double faults. Very, very nervy on the second serve there. Ball toss all over the place.
This could be a nervy tiebreak. Suddenly, the momentum's shifting all over the place.
Yeah. I don't think either of them have the momentum now, to be honest. It's
No. It's kind of stalled.
Yeah.
They both know how. Well, obviously, this is a significant moment, and it's just so tight between them. Really, very little margin. So let's see how Felix handles this. Because last time he was handed a break, because he was kind of handed the break back both times. Once with a wayward backhand and once with a double fault. Good first serve from Felix this time.
Lovely, lovely drive volley. Game on. 4-all.
Yeah. So this is going to decide whether Fritz potentially has 2 set points or 1 if they continue to hold serve.
Yeah.
That took you a while to work out what I was on about, but yes.
It did, I was just like, huh? And then I was like, oh, okay, no, if he was.
That's what it's usually like talking to me, to be fair. I'm amazed I'm still doing this, to be honest, because I don't make it half the time.
Yes. It's a huge point here, really, 4-all.
Okay, here we go. Felix serves up T, body serve, backhand, drop shot. Felix. Fritz scrambles, can't get there in time. It's a good drop shot.
Really good composure from Felix there.
Felix shows fire after that. He's pumped. He's ready. He wants this match to continue, and so do we.
That's just such a smart selection of shot, and he's executed it perfectly. It's such a big moment, which Felix a year ago wouldn't be doing that. I don't think in such a big match as well.
I could agree.
I love the chat's absolutely dead at the moment because everyone's probably glued to their screen.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We've got to tell everyone what's going on at the minute. As Fritz, good serve +1 or +2, finishes at the net with a forehand, 5-5, knife edge in this tiebreak. Absolute knife edge.
Are we getting a match point next, or are we getting a set point on the Felix serve?
Here's a question. Are they going to take that? And we're going to get 6-6.
Good return from Felix as well. Dictating the point with his forehand now. Into the Fritz backhand. Goes down the line. Fritz on the defense. Felix goes back down the line. Backhand to backhand now. Cross-court exchange. Felix puts it deep. Unleashes on the forehand. Fritz defends well. Felix comes in off a great forehand punch shot, and he's got the error. And we have a set point for Felix Auger-Aliassime.
And it's on his serve, and he's really pumped now.
That was such a good return point. That's two perfect points in a row. Well, not including the +1 from Felix.
We are
Fritz.
hitting the 2-hour 5 mark. This is turning into an epic. Because let's face it,
how radio commentators for tennis do it point by point for like 5-set matches. Like, it's exhausting.
Can you imagine being the radio commentator on Isner versus Mahou?
Oh gosh.
I don't think they would have had that because it was caught 18. But
yeah, they probably didn't.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you have to hear David Law's stories on the tennis podcast about it.
Quick shout out to the tennis podcast getting nominated for Podcast of the Year. That's very good. Very good for them.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah. I don't listen to them as much anymore, actually, but they're
same. That's because there's too many other great tennis podcasts out there.
Yeah, there's one called Popcorn Tennis. It's the best one I've heard right now. Anyway,
right, enough self-advertising. We're on to a set point. Here goes team body serve, forehand from Felix inside out, and he's too good. And we are into a third set, and Felix is absolutely loving it. We are in this 3 sets. Are we going 3 hours? We're in for
This is great. I mean, those last few points from Felix were exceptional.
We called it. We called Felix coming back and taking that second set. We called it going 3. Who wins set 3? I genuinely think this could go either way.
This is a 50-50 call. I have no idea where this is going. This has been so close. Oh.
Loving it. This ATP finals has been producing awesome tennis. We had Medvedev versus Tsitsipas last night, which was just wonderful. What was the other 3 sets that we saw that was Rublev and Medvedev as well? And that match, credit to them for producing something wonderful. Even some of the straight set stuff like Djokovic Tsitsipas was a good watch. Nadal Ruud earlier today, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say. I think Nadal definitely had the edge.
Rafa played really well today.
He did.
Good to see. Good to see.
It was good to see him ending the year on a high. I was really pleased after we'd been writing him off.
Me too.
He's going to lose all his matches. Yeah. So deserved to end it like that. Shrihari.
Yeah, great comeback from Felix from 4-2 down. Sure, I mean Fritz got nervy with that double fault, but I think Felix just clinical from there, and clutch also. And I think this match definitely deserves a deciding set just because Felix upped the ante by quite a bit in the second set. Would have been harsh for him to lose this 7-6, 7-6.
Yeah, I think those back-to-back points, with there was a Fritz +1 winner in the middle of it, but the drop shot and then the amazing return point and then the serve +1 on his end to seal the set was world class.
It really was. So 7-6, 6-7 when Taylor Fritz goes out the serve to begin the deciding set. I'm still sticking with my prediction of Fritz winning in 3 sets. You guys predicted Felix to win in 3 sets. I guess our predictions are still hanging by the balance. It's anybody's match from here, really. So yeah, do you still think Felix takes this?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Felix. Yeah, and
we may as well. To our guns,
Yeah.
right? In reality, judging by the way the match is going, it's a coin flip. But that's what predictions are for, right?
Exactly. Yep. And then we can get roasted on Twitter later for them.
I mean, I think pretty much every match except for 2 has gone to a tiebreaker. Nadal versus Fritz, Ruud versus Felix, Ruud versus Fritz. Right.
Ruud Nadal, there was no tiebreakers.
Yeah, Ruud versus Nadal, Nadal versus Felix, and Djokovic versus Rublev. I guess just 3 matches, but all of Medvedev's matches, all of Tsitsipas's matches, one of Rublev's matches. So really interesting. But yeah, I guess the third set's underway. I'll let you guys get back to it. Fritz is serving 15 all in the opening game. Let's see what happens.
Here we go.
Yeah. How's I'm curious to know how Twitter is taking this match at the minute.
I'm trying to look at my feed, but all I can see is Scott tweeting, wild that there's over 8 billion people in the world, but only one that won the Wimbledon title on the 7th of July 2013. Wanting to find Felix tweets, and no, it's just Scott talking about Andy Murray again.
I have no complaints. Scott makes everything about Andy Murray.
No, and I enjoy it. I think it's so fun.
He's such a great guy. He's so much fun to follow on Twitter. If you don't, I mean, like there are some people who watch us who aren't on Twitter and aren't aware of our little bubble that exists. It's absolute chaos on there, but we love it.
Oh, it's so fun! Like Scott's hilarious on there. It was funny being at Wimbledon with him this year because I was like people who recognised him from Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, I love your tweets." Like,
that's great. Famous. Well, actually, when I was at the Birmingham 250. I went to the semi-finals that got rained off. I ran into Lee, Underarm Ace, who run this on telly. And recognized him. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, you're Lee from Twitter, Nick. Hi."
Nice.
And then we ended up spending the entire time just chatting, waiting for it to start.
Yeah, it's good meeting Brits on there because you'll probably run into them, next time you're at Wimbledon or whatever.
It's very
next
true.
year's gonna be. There'll be a lot of us on Popcorn at Wimbledon next year. It's gonna be really fun.
Popcorn meetup. Maybe we should tell everyone, come meet us. We're not scary. I tell you what, my friend who isn't into tennis and he was on Twitter for a bit. He's now quit because doesn't enjoy it that much. But he did say, from following me, I was the only person he followed who tweets about tennis. He was like, the tennis Twitter community is actually the really the nicest Twitter community out there. Because like all the interactions that we're having were like super positive. And it's true because of all the Twitter communities that have joined, despite some issues that are out there, tennis is still way better than a lot of other options. Sports, yeah. F1 Twitter is.
I've heard it's a mess. I don't know. Tennis Twitter is quite bad. Like the big three arguers, the WTA arguers. Like there's been a lot of beef recently.
But
I don't get involved in any of that. I mean, rugby Twitter is in shambles at the moment as well, which is quite funny.
Twitter is what you make of it. If you only give yourself positive interactions, it will give you positive Twitter interactions. It's only if you go on there to argue that it makes itself toxic for you.
Yeah. And sprayed backhand one.
If you enjoyed this video
from Felix,
make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
John, what the hell?
John, come on, crucial point.
We're not done, mate.
Yeah. Come on, it's not all about you. Well, it is all about you because you're panel.
He's put the volley long and it's love 30. Oh dear.
That's not a good start from Felix. I'm going to say this now. If he hands this break to Fritz, I think Fritz is winning this match. I don't see him losing serve.
That was Shrihari. Right, Shrihari, you're banned. John, get back in the producer seat. I said do it the next changeover. Okay. That's so good. It's always good to have a bit of a subscribe promotion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, subscribe to us.
We should get one of those Squarespace sponsored adverts come in. So, do you love making videos? Check out Squarespace. It's the content hub.
Anyone ever actually used Squarespace?
I've heard people say apparently it's good, but I don't know anyone who actually uses it.
Fair. Okay. As we're going to a rally now, and Fritz goes wide on the backhand, trying to set up love 40.
Looked very off balance there.
So we're looking good. Excellent. So it's 15:30. What's Felix got? Can he dig himself out of his hole? He did have to dig himself out of a couple of holes in the first set, one in the second. How's he going to react here? Out wide on the serve. Fritz scrambles it back. Forehand. Nice. Felix is just unbelievable.
Clinical there.
And John reminding us of work to do. I'm not sure. I mean, I can try, mate, but I don't. I can try for that. But taking a selfie, and I hate taking selfies.
I might just put number 1 Diego Schwartzman fan by my name. That's all I really need to say.
Fair enough.
That's all people need to know about me on when it comes to tennis. Oh, Fritz dug that backhand out really nicely.
Felix. What a rally!
Excellent. That was such a good defensive backhand from Fritz. I thought he'd snuck the point for a second.
Yeah, so did I. But then Felix just took it out the air on the backhand. Bit like how how Felix snuck it earlier.
That was such a good scramble from Fritz as well. And he nearly got a racket on that one as well.
Yeah.
Good stuff. These guys are playing some lovely tennis.
Yeah, the crowd and cheering are being treated, and the viewers are being treated as well. It's not bad considering it's 11:30 over there.
I know. I'm not sure why they've scheduled it like they have.
No, I'm not either, because I think it's probably based on, like, this was the time it started in the UK. I remember when it was in London, it was an 8 p.m. start for the singles. And it made sense because it's in the UK, but maybe they were finding that international viewers were struggling with it. But I think a 10 p.m. start for a singles match is a bit silly.
I guess because it's 2 sessions, isn't it? It's the early afternoon doubles and singles, and then the half 5 here or half 6 there doubles, and then the singles. Singles, but they could easily just push the doubles at least an hour forward.
Yeah.
This
Speaking of doubles,
a 3.5 hour singles match at all, is it?
Speaking of doubles, are you excited for the possibility of having 3 Brits in the ATP finals doubles semi-finals?
Yes, I saw that Glasspool and Hedy Avara got into
and
qualified for the semis. Did
Joe
Salisbury
Salisbury's
qualify yesterday? Yeah, they did, didn't they?
They qualified today.
Today, okay, cool.
So it's just Skupski and Kulhoff left tomorrow.
Are they playing Kyrgios and Kokkinakis for like a straight shootout or something?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I haven't been paying close attention. But British tennis fans, doubles is alive. You should watch it. We're great at it.
We are
Stop
good.
obsessing at singles.
I mean, you can obsess over singles. Just give a bit of love for doubles.
Yeah, do a little bit of love for doubles.
Especially Joe Salisbury. Man's just sick. He's so good.
Amazing player. As Felix can't get no turnover, it's 30-15. Fritz.
He's disappointed with that one.
He should be, really, because that was a makeable return on second serve.
Very much so.
Also, if you have an American viewers, stop obsessing over American men and appreciate you women in the tennis.
Yeah.
And in general,
as a nation, they've got men and women doing really well. To be honest,
Yeah, but the women are definitely doing better.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I've got 2. We've got 2 in the top 10 with Coco and Pegula.
Yeah.
And Coco also number 2 in the doubles, or was she back at number 1?
No, I think she's number 2. I think it's currently number 1 is currently between. I think number 2 might. I not have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure Mertens and Kudermetova might be at 2 because they won the WTA finals.
Yeah, and then McNally is the top 4 as well, isn't she? I think.
Oh, interesting. As Fritz had a ball that first serve that was called out when it was actually in, but didn't challenge. Doesn't matter anyway because he finished it with a forehand, and it's 2-1 as they change ends.
Fritz's forehand has been amazing today.
Yeah,
there's so many winners.
Some monster shots on that forehand. So we're in an intriguingly poised match for sure. I don't think we've had as matches quite finely poised as this during this ATP finals that's gone 3. I think Medvedev Tsitsipas looked like it was going Medvedev's way for much of that third set.
And then he played a howler of a service game. And to be fair to Tsitsipas, like, I know Medvedev, crumbled a bit, but Tsitsipas played such a good match tactically. And raised his level when he needed to in that third set. And that was such a fun match to watch.
Yeah. And Rublev and Medvedev, again, we were fairly confident Rublev was going to win that one.
Yeah, he just on the day from the get-go kind of just looked like the better, stronger player, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's a shame to see. I mean, like, the 2 running crowd is fantastic, but it's a shame we don't have Berrettini or Sinner.
Yes. Agreed.
Because, they both very well could have been here without, injuries completely derailing their season.
Here's to hope. Here we hope for some happy, healthy Italians in 2023.
Exactly. I love the way that both of them play. They're really fun to watch. And Shahiri has asked us to stop talking about Medvedev Tsitsipas. For our viewers who are unaware, yesterday Medvedev and Tsitsipas were playing. Medvedev is out of the ATP finals after losing to Stefanos Tsitsipas.
And Shahiri loved
it was 6-3, 6-7, 7-6 to Tsitsipas. That was the score, just in case anyone didn't know. 7-1 in the tiebreak.
I'm watching bullying live on air, as we speak.
I'm informing my viewers, our viewers. Yeah,
Your viewers say someone Shrewsbury has the power to remove you from the stream.
That's true.
Which I hope he doesn't do, because I can't carry this on my own, to be honest. And it's way more fun with you.
Thank you. I am just rambling, but yeah, thank you.
Well, so am I, but they would be nonsensical at this point. Felix is serving at 15 love, goes long on the first serve. Still trying to get on with it. Felix wearing a sort of light blue with bits of white shirt, black shorts, and Fritz is wearing some kind of like camouflage colours.
Yeah, it's their kind of end of the year line from Nike and Adidas. I don't think Adidas have done any nice kits this season apart from the polos the team wore, the pink and yellow ones. But like Tsitsipas's alien looking t-shirt at the USA was just awful.
Yeah.
And I don't like something much either. India beat India in the T20 World Cup. Yeah, no, the Cricket World Cup was great for me as an Englishman, but I also had a really bad Saturday with England losing to Samoa in the Rugby League semi-final and England women losing to New Zealand in the World Cup final.
Match that England Samoa. I mean, like any other team that Samoa would have beaten would have been like, this is an amazing sporting story.
They've got an amazing. They've got so many NRL players. They've got a fantastic team, but we were rubbish. I was so annoyed.
Anyway, we're not rambling rugby. We're talking tennis, and it's
that's a story for a different day. I was ranting about that earlier to myself actually. But Felix is looking very comfortable in this particular service game, as he looks to make it 2 games.
His own breakaway channel that commentates on rugby games.
Yeah, I should actually. Talking rugby should be done.
Franchise it, John. Get into negotiation.
Popcorn rugby podcast.
There you go. Find your fellow rugby people. Félix is asking why we stopped the game. We haven't stopped the game. We can't show it.
I don't think we have the power. I don't think we have the power to stop the game. I think the umpire can do that.
Yeah, it's 2-2. Anyway, if you want to
very
score,
comfortable hold once again.
2-2 final set tiebreak. But yeah, for those people who come and hope that we are streaming the match, we would quite like to continue our existence on YouTube and not be shut down. Look, if we ever get the money to get the rights to broadcast tennis, then great, because it means I don't really need to worry about what I look like on a live stream. Because sit in a commentary box and worry about what I sound like. But it's unfortunately we can't do that. So if you're coming here looking for live pictures of the game, sorry, you can't do that. But we'll describe it as best we can and get in the comments and have a chat with us, because that's the purpose of Talking Tennis, is we watch tennis together and we talk about it. So, or we might tell you might inform those of you who cannot get access. You can live it through us, as it's 30 love on the Fritz serve. Again, serving really strongly. This match has been very serve dominated, but we still managed to get some fairly decent rallies out of it. As another unreturnable serve from Taylor Fritz to take it to 40 love. Fairly straightforward game. Looks like we're going to get to a change of ends.
I mean, it's been very serve dominated. I think the first set, Fritz had the upper hand in the longer rallies. Second set, Auger-Aliassime had the upper hand in the longer rallies. And that was kind of the only real difference between them, and a couple of key points in the tiebreak. But they are both looking very, very dominant on serve right now.
It's pretty even at the minute. I don't know who's kind of coming on top of the longer rallies at the minute. Now, I don't think they're really having many long rallies anymore.
I do want to interrupt you, gentlemen, just to show a short video, just for laughs, since it's a changeover, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, here we go.
What's happening?
Wait, am I not sharing it?
Why? No, nothing's coming up.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Look, this is pancakes at the parachute. Come on.
Hey, you don't know me.
Oh no, Rick, look! Golden Fold landed the plane, and he's created a mechanical arm to pluck Mrs. Pancakes out of the air while he lets us fall into a giant vat of lava! Pretty concise, Morty. Looks like we've merely prolonged the inevitable.
All right. Back to the match then.
That's the match. Some shameless self-promotion. That was good. That was good.
I cannot believe
I
you just
learned from
stopped
the
this.
best, right, Jethro? Right. All of us here are talking tennis. Anyway, back to the match.
Well then. Anyway, back to we are coming out at 2-3. Auger-Aliassime to serve, and
That was actually some good changeover entertainment there. That lasted the entire changeover. That was perfect.
maybe we need to do something more than that more often. Hopefully, nothing
more Rick and Morty
too much.
memes during changeovers.
Nothing that risks copyright too much. Fortunately, I think we could get away with that one. But
Yeah.
shameless self-promotion of your own memes. That's what you get on Talking Tennis. So,
Well, only if you're the producer.
well, yeah, you get a lot of power when you're producing. As Fritz
well
cross
played.
court at the net, runs that down, picks it off. Félix can't do anything about it. It is love 15.
Yeah, didn't do enough with his chop shot there. Fritz just pounced.
Yeah, Fritz is chasing everything down as much as he can, and it's the first one he's got where he's really got a handle on it. Yeah,
Fritz is actually even on forced errors to winners, 21 on both, and Félix has 29 winners and 27 on forced errors, so he's just ahead on that.
they're playing at fine margins. Very aggressive tennis from both, and Félix puts a forehand to the net.
As we speak about unforced errors, and there's another one.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble again. Although we were saying that in his opening service game at 1-0, and he got out.
Yeah, I think blink and he's a 40-30 and he hits another ace. So let's see. Can he do
below,
it again?
Below par drop shot and a very below par forehand from Taylor Fritz.
Félix.
So, sorry, yeah, Félix or Auger-Aliassime. It's tied. Okay, they've got very similar names. They both begin with F.
I think I probably mixed them up about, probably every single time I've talked about them in this match.
Yeah, we're not professionals, guys.
There we are. We've
Are
been
we?
training years for this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Years of training wasted. Forehand Fritz. Forehand Félix. Fritz scrambles on the backhand. Félix has the overhead, hits it down.
Ooh.
Fritz could have got it, but wasn't quite in the right position.
He was in the right area of the court, but yeah, just couldn't get his body round to get a rack on it.
He couldn't quite do the Carlos Alcaraz in Barcelona match point down against Diminor.
Oh yeah. I still can't believe Diminor should have beaten, because Diminor should have won that match, and Diminor has always been rubbish on clay, but he's doing.
But then he would
well.
have played PCB in the final. Probably wouldn't have won it, to be fair. But
I think Diego lost to PCB in the semi.
I think Barcelona was definitely felt like Alcaraz's tournament, though. Good serve from
sure. Yeah, that's nice, Félix.
Actually, and Shrihari, producer, might be able to confirm this. Is Alcaraz currently unbeaten in Spain? Is Carlos Alcaraz currently unbeaten in Spain? I think he is.
Well, at a tour level.
Yeah. So definitely this year, Barcelona and Madrid. I don't know what other Spanish events there are on tour.
Ooh,
Félix puts that forehand to the net, and it's a great point for Fritz. So, yeah, I think Carlos Alcaraz is currently unbeaten in Spain, and so that could be an interesting achievement for someone to beat him in his home country. But we are digressing because now we're at break point. Not unbeaten career-wise, just, is he on an unbeaten streak? So since that Barcelona loss to Tiafoe, that Nadal loss in Madrid 21, has he been unbeaten since then? But yeah, I don't think so either.
Didn't lose in Spain this year.
I don't think so either. Yeah. So second serve at break point down for Félix Auger-Aliassime. Thanks, Shahiri. He is unbeaten since 121. And backhand in play from Fritz. So no, it was long. Backhand return was long.
Oh.
He's going to be annoyed with that because that was makeable. That was makeable.
And these are the kind of areas where Fritz is just losing certain matches like this. You know, it's same with the Ruud one. It's just not quite taking his chances at really big moments. And
does have to be said, although he's got a great backhand, I do feel like he gets himself jammed up quite easily, Taylor Fritz.
He does. And it's just not enough movement off the ball, I think. And Félix hasn't played particularly well off his backhand today either, which is unsurprising. But I don't think Fritz has actually been that much better than him on the backhand side. I think he's made a lot of poor errors as well.
He's definitely, it's a bit more of a weapon for him, but I agree. He's definitely, I think a lot of the issues have come from that side. Anyway, Félix has got a second serve. He's double faulted.
Oh dear. Oh, Félix.
This game is not going his way right now.
No, we wanted 3 tie breaks. Come on, man. This isn't part of the script.
He's definitely dipped. Oh, yes, I forgot. Davis Cup was in Spain. So you're right.
Oh,
Félix,
I wondered that.
Félix beat Carlos. So yeah, he's currently. So yeah, okay, never mind. You can beat Carlos Alcaraz in Spain, but it took a lot of effort and it took a very good performance from Félix Auger-Aliassime. What kind of performance is Félix going to produce on this point? He gets the first serve in. Great return for Fritz. Big forehand from Félix Auger-Aliassime to save a third break point. He is not going anywhere. That is Uncle Tony in the crowd. Not kind of
showing any emotion.
Yeah,
it was interesting because obviously the all the Rafa despisers on Twitter all hate returning Nadal. And so it was when he was playing Félix the other day, he was in Felix's box and wasn't really showing much emotion, and people saying that's really poor form of Tony. That's just who he is. Like that's just what he does. You are playing oh dear, that's another error.
Another forehand into the net from Félix, trying to go on the attack inside out. It's just he's getting himself out of trouble and then he's just putting himself right back in it. Fourth break point chance or third break point chance.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a fourth anyway.
Yeah, it's a fourth. I think.
I don't know why it's saying 3 on the stat.
Oh no, it is 3 then. It is 3 because it was 30-40 then.
I think they're wrong. I'm pretty sure we comment this is the fourth one. Maybe we're stuck in an infinite loop. Anyway, up the middle
serve. Fritz can't get it back.
It's deuce again.
Félix serving has been clutch today. Most of the time.
This game's almost 7 minutes.
Oof.
Yeah. Taylor's produced some clutch serving as well, but he hasn't needed to as often.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 3 break points.
Okay. Discounted. Okay. So we're back in play.
Miscalculated.
Big, Fritz, good return to get that back in play, and now he seems to have got control of the rally, but they're kind of moving each other around on the forehand. It's going forehand to forehand, scoops it back in. It's long from Félix, kind of on the defense against a good forehand from Fritz, and it's another. This time it is a fourth break point.
Yeah, that was a really nice forehand from Fritz on the stretch.
Yeah, Fritz played that point really well. Like that was the first break point that he's kind of earned and not just benefited from Félix flopping.
Definitely.
So here we go again. Here we go again.
Can he make a 4th successive first serve on break point?
He can't.
He doesn't. He's gone wide. Ooh.
The tension is high.
Huge, and Fritz has missed a couple of second serve returns already. He needs to latch onto this.
It was a very safe second serve.
It was enough. Oh, and he's gone wide. He's gone wide with the forehand. Oh,
I think we can call. Is that game over for Félix Auger-Aliassime? Well, it is game over, but you know what I mean. Is this
game set a match? No, I don't know. I think
I don't see, unless Fritz chokes this, like Medvedev did yesterday, then I
thought we weren't allowed to mention that match because of our producer.
I'm going to get the stream on site. It's the only comparison I've got. I'm sorry.
He did choke though, for sure. But yeah, Tsitsipas earned that at the same time, and I'd be surprised if Fritz does the same here.
We're into another rally between Fritz and Felix, and it's pretty good. Forehand from Fritz, backhand Felix, forehand Fritz, forehand scrambled from Felix, forehand Fritz into the corner, beautiful, right in the corner.
Really, really well, Fritz.
Yeah, it does feel like he has the ascendancy in the longer rallies again. He's definitely able to control the points a bit better. He's definitely seeming more confident.
It's funny to remember as well that Fritz is here as an alternate, but I hadn't viewed him as an alternate, in this tournament. He's really earned his place here this year, and he's playing, like a top contender.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I don't think there's anyone here who really hasn't earned their place, to be honest.
No. You get to the end of your finals, you've probably earned it. Yeah. Even if there's, no points at Wimbledon and, a Djokovic, 2 Djokovic slams, you still earn your spot.
Oh,
that's an unbelievable backhand.
Right in the corner again, up the line.
If anything, I think he's upped his level since he's got that break.
Yeah, I think that was an Andy Murray-like backhand.
No, it was a Diego Schwartzman-like backhand. If we're, I reckon much more in the Diego.
Sure.
It was funny. I was watching the next gen finals the other day. I was watching Dominic Stricker, who I was so impressed by. As Felix holds to love and has a 5-2 lead in this third set. And I was watching Dominic Stricker the other day, and he did a big serve, and he's Swiss. There's he's big lefty. Quite similar to Draper. I think him and Draper could have quite similar careers. And he has a good serve and hits a big forehand winner. And the commentator's like, "Oh, that's Federer-esque." I'm like, "Are you just saying that because he's from Switzerland?" Because
Nadal because they're from Spain, even though really not. Their games are not that similar.
Oh, sure, you're backing me up here. More Schwartzman than Murray like that backhand. I think in the way he hit it, yeah.
I'm sticking to my guns. I'm pretty sure I've seen Andy Murray dig backhands out like that.
Oh yeah, sure. But Murray is more of a passing shot god, I would say. Well, Diego's good, but that was an insane game from Fritz. That was just perfect. But these commentators and their need to either compare someone with the one-handed backhand to Federer, or compare someone who's from Switzerland to Federer, or someone who's Spanish to Nadal.
What's going to happen to the next poor Serbian player? Although I don't know if there's any Serbian players really coming up at the minute.
Yeah, Kecmanovic class. Well, he's fallen off since Miami, really, but had a good year. He's good.
Because he didn't do bad.
Yeah, he should have probably beaten Djokovic, I think.
Yeah,
Lajovic.
Backhand down the line on the run. Murray, quintessential Andy Murray.
Yeah, Murray's great at that for sure.
Well, prime Murray.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of good Serbian players. There was Lajovic, Krajinovic.
They're quite old though.
Yeah, Laszlo Djere. Kecmanovic is probably the only one that's still pretty young. He's 24.
Mike, you were saying that about the Swiss before Stricker and Huesler showed up.
Yeah, Huesler's come. He's having a fantastic.
He had a fantastic few months. Anyway, new game. Felix got a good first serve in, but Fritz has managed to make this into a rally, and now Felix forehand right trying to run for the ball up the middle and. Love 15.
Fritz just absolutely crushing the ball now off both wings all around the court. This is kind of Fritz at his best right now.
He's taking control of this completely.
Last 15 points, 16 to Fritz, 5 to Felix, which kind
Tell
of
you
says
what,
it all really.
if he plays like this against Novak, he could give.
He could
Djokovic
definitely
ahead.
take a set, I think, if he's
Yeah.
playing as well. Definitely.
For sure. As Felix goes up to Novak in the middle and goes long.
Although I think our producer may quit tennis if Medvedev loses to Fritz after Tsitsipas's win over Medvedev last night.
You mean Djokovic loses?
If Djokovic loses to Fritz, sorry, yeah, after the way Medvedev lost last night.
Yeah. Showing us the last 21 points, yeah. Fritz very much in control of this now. Although Felix has managed to end that run.
Snag a point back.
15 all. I mean, I'm expecting, even if Felix holds, I'm expecting Fritz to serve it out. I think Fritz has got this now.
Oh yeah, it will take a serious dip in, a mental and physical dip from Fritz.
Or Felix pulls out an incredible point to rattle it.
Yeah, which he's very capable of.
Definitely.
Yeah. See, the pace that Fritz is hitting with there, he's forced another error on the forehand side, and I wouldn't say Felix is even playing too badly right now. He's just like, this is just insane from Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's for Tony Nadal shouting at Felix. It's 15-30. I have to see what Felix can produce, because he's been under pressure in most of his service games this set. Goes to show how incredible his level was in the second set to keep up with Taylor Fritz, really.
Definitely. Yeah. It's been a really, really high quality match, actually, for the most part.
Long trying to go out wide on the first set. He's in control. Third round against Shapovalov in US 2020. Yeah, I don't remember that match. So maybe. I mean, some people might say he choked against Djokovic in Australia in 2021 and Nadal at Wimbledon this year.
Yeah, but the matches against the injured grandpas. He probably should have won both of those.
Felix has gone long on the backhand, and it's 2 match points.
2 match points. He had a very good match with Tsitsipas in Australia this year as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he potentially could have won that one because Tsitsipas wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's very different to this situation, but I would say it's it's not a choke in that he had the advantage, but he definitely he's definitely lost matches he should have won, maybe, or probably maybe should have won.
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree on both Australian Open 2021 against Novak and Wimbledon 2020 against Nadal. And that's it. Game, set, and match. Taylor Fritz, and that was an incredible third set. That's probably the best I've seen Fritz play in a big match, I think.
Yeah, he's done good.
Nice handshake in there. Felix is gutted. Felix is absolutely gutted, but
kind of makes up for that slight disappointing performance against Casper Ruud earlier in the group stage. So the question is, so Taylor Fritz is now giving himself the opportunity. He's going to play Novak Djokovic on Saturday. Probably going to be the afternoon match. Is he giving himself the opportunity to beat Novak and Rafa and do a Dominic team?
Ooh, I mean, the way he's playing, yeah, I think he can. I'm not saying he's the favorite against Djokovic. Djokovic is obviously always going to be the favorite in that match, but
yeah, Djokovic is still a heavy favorite. I think he'll be able to undo Taylor Fritz even when he's playing well.
Yeah,
but you just never know. You never know. Taylor Fritz, like the way he played in those last few games, was incredible.
That was insane.
I think Djokovic would probably be a bit more resilient against it than Félix Auger-Aliassime.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to step up another gear. But the way he was attacking, that's kind of the way to beat Djokovic, I think, on these courts, is all-out attack. So if he keeps that up, you never know. And semi-finals, yeah, well done, Taylor Fritz.
Hello,
wow,
gentlemen.
sure. What a match!
Yeah, I mean, I got the prediction right, so I guess something to be happy about. But right, I mean, sure, I'm sad for Felix. Pretty big fan of his, one of my favorite players for sure. But I did see this coming. He just wasn't looking in the best shape, really. At no point did I see him playing as well as he did during that stretch, winning 3 titles in a row and making the semifinal in Bercy. But yeah, great win for Fritz. I think he really held his nerve well after, losing that second set tiebreaker from a mini breakup.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Yeah, he was a mini breakup twice in that second set tiebreak.
Oh, yeah, he was.
And he kind of threw it away both times with a double fault, and then before that, a really sort of I think I find the backhand miss a bit more forgivable because I think it was an awkward shot, but probably still should have made it.
That was tricky because the return was really deep, but then the double fault definitely a gift from 4-2. But yeah, I mean, the third set couldn't have gone better for him, especially since he got that break in that 8.5 minute long game. It was the 6th game of the third set. Love hold is, some blistering winners from Fritz, especially that backhand down the line running winner that we spoke about. And I think Felix just, he kind of capitulated in the last game. He just didn't know what to do. And,
he was just completely played off the court, and he just ran out of ideas. Like Fritz, he did. Just sort of found a hybrid between crushing his forehand and his backhand with such good precision and power, and it's tough to deal with. He's rushing.
Mario, me too. I called Fritz winning in 3 sets. I had him making the semifinal at the beginning of the tournament. Obviously, I had him in Felix, but instead of Felix, we got Casper Ruud. So yeah, I mean, I expected this, especially this match. And you guys spoke about the semifinal versus Novak Djokovic. Thoughts on that?
I think Taylor Fritz might give him a headache, but I think Djokovic in this form is a class above. That's not to say that Taylor Fritz isn't a very good player, because this performance today was incredible. But Novak Djokovic is special. And I just think that it might be a couple of tie breaks or a couple of really close sets, only 1 break each set. But I'm fairly confident Novak Djokovic is going to win that match, because look, Taylor Fritz pushed a slightly broken Novak Djokovic famously in Australia 2021. He hasn't pushed him since. So yeah. I think Fritz
pushed him otherwise. Let's say, they played last. I mean, the last meeting was on an indoor hard court. It was Paris Bercy last year. Fairly comfortable win for Djokovic, and Djokovic, of course, was coming off a 50-day break, or close to a 50-day break, right after losing that US Open final. That was the first tournament he played. Of course, he went on to win it. So yeah, I think the matchup is just a nightmare one for Fritz.
I don't know. I mean, we are talking about a different Fritz here. Like, he's come a long way in the last year. Like,
he has. I mean, this year he's just been incredible.
Last year no one would have.
No two ways about it.
No one would have predicted him to be a Masters 1000 winner last year, and he got that this year.
It is the AO final. What do you mean by that, Mario?
Oh, it's Medvedev first.
All right, okay. No, I didn't read the comments above. Yeah, I should have guessed. But yeah. I mean, you guys are right. It's just that for me, I think the matchup matters, even though this is a different Fritz. I mean, different in the sense, pace-wise, it's the same Fritz, but he's improved a lot. That being said, the way Novak is playing is ominous. Will he keep that up is the big question. He has looked in this form, I think, 2 editions that he has ended up losing, I would say, especially 2018. Nobody imagined him losing, right? He made this final without dropping serve or even the set, and he loses to Zverev the way he did. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think anybody was really. So Again, interesting. I still favor Novak heavily in that, but Fritz, it just depends. I think, I mean, if you look at all three matches overall from this group, Taylor Fritz has played at the most consistent level, I would say. In all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because Ruud
So
wasn't
he's
quite himself
not-
against Nadal. We'll see.
No, I think Ruud was lacked a bit of intensity. You know, he knew he'd already qualified.
Yeah, I mean, for
and
him, yeah, Ruud, yeah, definitely not.
he knew
Because
obviously,
Federer
and like I
just-
think playing Rafa as well, he's not as bothered. You know, if he
yeah, I
loses
mean,
to
that
Rafa.
matchup is not good. Let's just put it that way.
No,
Yeah, so that is the match. Obviously, we're going to be talking for a while. We can talk about Rublev versus Tsitsipas. That is the sort of next marquee / knockout match that we have. Obviously, the dead rubber being Djokovic is Medvedev. I don't think.
I
people
would rather talk about Djokovic Medvedev first, just because we're kind of on the subject of Djokovic.
yeah, me too actually.
Yeah, because like it makes more sense to kind of do that, and then we'll kind of shift to it. But I think Djokovic versus Medvedev tomorrow could be interesting. Medvedev has got something to prove, especially after that match in Kazakhstan they played. But on the other hand, and also to show that he can maintain a top level. I think Novak is the favourite though, because I think I could see Medvedev struggling. I feel like you're going to have mixed emotions watching that one, Shahuri.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, interestingly, you mentioned it. Since the 200 points still up for grabs, and Medvedev would have to win it to, at least for now, stay in the top 5, because according to the live rankings, Felix is number 5. Cannot add more points, of course. He's out of the tournament. But Medvedev, if he wins, he goes back up ahead of Felix. Could change, of course. I mean, Novak winning the tournament would put him at 5, and Medvedev would drop down to 6, right? But I think Medvedev definitely has 200 points to salvage, and he would want to at least, grab onto that as some sort of consolation, both mathematically and mentally. Of course, Rublev winning would make it even more interesting rankings-wise. You have Fritz, two players ranked below Medvedev at this point. Either one, you could say, could add more points than they have right now. Tsitsipas will finish in the top 3 of the rankings unless Casper Ruud makes the final, regardless of whether Tsitsipas wins or not tomorrow.
Casper Ruud spoiling the Tsitsipas party and the Medvedev party again.
Yeah, good. I mean, he's ahead of Medvedev anyway. That's
yeah. I mean, I think with Medvedev Djokovic, I'll be interested to see how it goes, and if it is a really, really good match, and if Medvedev really pushes Djokovic and it goes to 3 and it's a really long one, because if it does, that gives Fritz an advantage.
Yeah, will Novak just soft tank is what I wonder.
Yeah.
A la 2020.
I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Yeah,
I feel like it's very un-Novak, and also he's motivated to go undefeated in this ATP finals because it maximizes his ranking.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, at what point does the match get to a stage where he thinks, I'm just gonna, draw out of this match, and too many long busting rallies. There's no point. He was, it was a lot more bold when he did it in 2020, because that sent Medvedev to the semifinal first, and Djokovic could have still gotten knocked out, but he put up a really solid clutch performance against Zverev to make it through the semifinal. But now he can definitely afford to do it. Would he do it? I don't know. He's done it before, right? In some ways, not very appreciated by people. Like, I remember the Sonego match in Vienna in 2020. He got to Vienna with the sole purpose of sealing the year number 1 spot. Once he got there, I think he was flat against Sonego, losing 6-2, 6-1, his heaviest defeat in his career.
Yeah,
so
I don't think he tanked. I know lots of people said he did, but he just had one of those days where he just was crap. And Sonego peaked. Like, Sonego was up, and Sonego can do that. Like, he's electric when he's playing well.
Yeah.
Give him a really, really good match in Rome that
Yeah,
year.
and then when Djokovic played him in Rome, it made me think, more that Novak just probably wasn't in the mood to play Sonego.
That still went to 3 sets in Rome.
It did go to 3 sets, yes. Novak
Yeah,
obviously
Sonego,
served for the
played
match
super
in the
well.
second set, had match points, but I think Novak largely outclassed Sonego. Sonego had to play the tennis of his life just to push that to a third set. Had a
Sonego
couple of
was
break
great
points,
in
I
Rome.
remember, in the beginning of the third set, but Novak just pulled through. I think he played an amazing match, especially considering that was the night match he played right after beating Tsitsipas in the day. That match getting postponed. Mario has some interesting words here.
Sonego
people
goat. Yes. Sonego. Yeah, I love it.
Sonic goat is a word that floats around quite a bit on tennis Twitter.
I like Sonego is wild. I quite enjoy his.
Yeah, so I just don't know what happened. Medvedev, Djokovic, really either way. I mean, I'm still upset that Medvedev is out of the tournament. Maybe would be less so if he somehow gets 200 points. May sound controversial, but I don't mind that, really. Novak has won the group. Like, what is he going to lose just losing that match? I still think he's going to win the title. That being said, that takes us to the blockbuster clash, the most anticipated one. Along the similar vein, John has a question for you, Nick.
I am commentating. Yes, I'm commentating tomorrow with Vanch and the commentary debut of Owen Lewis.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to be part of. Thoughts on that one. Tsitsipas and Rublev have a great rivalry. They've had so many blockbuster matches that have gone 3 sets. So I think this one's going to go 3. They're both motivated to do well. They've both had good tournaments. I would give Tsitsipas the slight edge, but just based on the momentum from his win last night, and also from the fact he pushed Djokovic pretty hard, whereas Rublev had a great high, kind of nearly bottled it against Medvedev and did not perform, just couldn't deal with Djokovic. Tsitsipas dealt with Djokovic far better than Rublev. That's probably more down to matchup than anything else. Mm-hmm. But I would probably back Tsitsipas in 3 in that one, but it's going to be a cracker. Which I was going to say in the bigger picture, actually, semi-final lineup is almost the dream for Djokovic because he's got a great matchup. He would have a great matchup against all 3 of them: Fritz, whether it's Rublev or Tsitsipas, and Ruud.
Yeah.
It's almost like the tennis universe is handing this title to Novak Djokovic on a plate.
But he might end up with the plate itself. You just never know.
You never know. Fritz might peak. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I think, still have him as a heavy favorite. Yeah. But again,
what Rublev can do tomorrow.
Tsitsipas is good enough. He could turn the tables on Novak potentially.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Nick? Like, I mean, not me.
Why would I like that? Why would I like that?
No. I meant you would like the prospect of somebody actually challenging Novak in the final rather than.
I want an interesting match. I don't care who wins.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Right. I mean, not in the sense that you want to see Novak pushed, or specifically you want to see Novak losing. I didn't mean that. I meant like for tennis, it would be, I guess, from the perspective of someone who's neutral, they would want a good match, right? So I guess with that in mind, I think you would prefer Tsitsipas. Ruud versus Tsitsipas, I can see Tsitsipas winning that. But then again, Tsitsipas just been, I can't tell what to make of his. I mean,
the thing is, I think we need to talk about this matchup with Rublev as well, because although Tsitsipas did better against Djokovic than Rublev did, and he matches up better against Djokovic, that's mainly because he's got a lot more things in his game that he can trouble Djokovic with. You know, he can serve and volley when he wants to, and he can be really aggressive, and he can hit with spin, whereas Rublev's very flat. But what Rublev can do to Tsitsipas is he can rush him because he has such powerful, quick ground strokes. And Tsitsipas hates being rushed. Yeah. Exactly. And on this court, Tsitsipas hates being rushed. And Rublev probably should have won their match in Astana, a couple of months ago. And not even 2 months. Yeah, not even 2 months ago, a month and a half ago or something. And Tsitsipas did really, really well to kind of steal that at the death. But I don't know. I think tomorrow should be interesting. I think, as you guys said, they'll both be really motivated. If Rublev plays like he did against Medvedev, I think he'll definitely fancy his chances. And it'd be very interesting, if we go into the semi-finals with Djokovic and Rublev winning the group, because I don't think anyone. I think I predicted Rublev to go 0-3 in this tournament, and now
I think part of me does want that kind of chaos lineup semi-final of Ruud versus Rublev, because no one would have predicted that.
I love it.
Yeah, no one would have. That's true. Even Rublev, going as far as to say, what am I doing here? We all had Ruud and Rublev as the players, as the black sheep, right? Pretty much in this lineup.
I had Ruud going through, but
for me it was Nadal and Ruud who were the black sheep. Turns out Medvedev ended up being a black sheep. But
I think Srihari had Felix and Fritz going through this group, and I had Ruud and Felix. And
only one of them went through. Yeah. And it's the same case with the other group, right? So I guess the 50% accuracy. I still have Djokovic winning.
Yeah.
Which I hope I mean, it's most likely not exactly bold. But Rublev versus Tsitsipas. I have actually been quite spot on off late with predictions. I was almost there with the
Medvedev. Showing off.
No, right. I mean, okay, sure. Let me gloat. But I want to say this. Right. No, I do want to say that I'm picking Rublev to win tomorrow.
Do you know what? Yeah. I've just looked at their head-to-head. Okay. So it's 6-4 Tsitsipas at the minute. He's won the last two. As I said, they're very evenly matched. Rublev is due a win.
Yeah, if you look at it that way. What was the head-to-head? I think it was 3-2 after the Hamburg final. Pretty sure. No, it was 2-2. I think
2-1. It was 2-1.
2-1. Right. Tsitsipas got him back at RG in the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Tsitsipas also beat him at the ATP final, saving match point.
Yeah. How do you remember all this?
Well, I mean, you remember WTA just as well, right?
I don't.
I think you
do. I cannot remember. Have like special brains for this stuff. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I think you guys also have a pretty good memory in that aspect. I would say, like, personally. Anyway, but yeah, I remember that. And then Rotterdam was it where Rublev beat Tsitsipas in 2021. And then did they meet in Turin last year?
They did, but there was a match
there
before
meeting in between.
Yeah, Monte Carlo.
Oh yeah, the final. Like I knew I was missing a match. Yeah. Okay, that is now 3-3 or 4-3 in Tsitsipas' favor. Is it?
After Monte Carlo, yes. Then Rublev made it 4-4.
Yeah, it was 4-4 after Turin. I know that, and then Tsitsipas won in Madrid this year and in Astana.
Yeah.
Again, those are close matches. If you look at the conditions, high altitude, fast playing courts or like indoor hard courts, it's either a rather comfortable win for Rublev or it's a close win for Tsitsipas. That is, if you do want to look into the 2021 round robin match. I mean, that was comfortable for Rublev, but Tsitsipas was just like completely handicapped with his elbow. Anyway. So I just think, and like you said, Rublev is kind of due a win, and this matchup is so even that it could go either way. It just depends on who plays the points better on the day.
My head is telling me Tsitsipas. My gut's telling me Rublev.
I am going with Rublev in 3 sets.
Jethro, do you want to come in and... I'm refusing to stick my flag anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so split on this, but I'm going to say Rublev just to be interesting, I guess. But yeah, I think it's going to be really tight. I think.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll join you on the Rublev train.
Yeah,
but let's do the stream tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's it's Rublev self-deprecating at the start of the tournament. That's got him in this position. It's what am I doing in this group, man? Yeah.
right. So this
And
is
Rublev, that'd be a Rublev Ruud semi-final, and I could not tell you who wins that match.
Yeah.
For those who do want to see the history, they go all the way back to the next gen finals in 2018. That was kind of when Rublev was making his way back up. I remember he made the quarterfinal of the US Open 2017, lost to Nadal. He did drop out of the top 100 not very long after 2018.
Yeah,
I
he
know
got
he lost
injured,
to
didn't he?
Fritz in Indian Wells in 2018. I only know that because they met again this year in, I want to say, a semifinal. And Fritz did beat him 7-5, 6-4. Yeah. John has a question here for us. How do we rate out of 10 Felix? 7, maybe 6? I would say 8, actually. Just putting in context the player he was like and his achievements leading up to
I'd
this
go
year.
7.5. What, 4 titles?
Yeah, 4 titles.
4 titles.
Yeah, I'm going to say 8.
Closest to
because-
beating Rafa comfortably, really, at the French
Yeah,
Open.
I mean, he's become a big match player.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, sure.
Match
he didn't
point
make the
against
finals, but
against
definitely has, I would say.
Medvedev in Australia. Yeah, Wimbledon disappointment, but
Wimbledon, US Open, yeah, I mean, but since the US Open, he's turned it around. And
yeah.
I would have given it a 9 if he did better at Wimbledon, US Open.
Yeah, I'd say 7.5 is probably what I'd go for.
I'd say 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7.58. I would agree with that. If I'm going to make me pick a number, I'd probably say 8 as well.
Yeah.
For the same reasons.
10 is the calendar slam, so I guess Novak was 9.5 last year.
Right. I think that bar's a little bit too high.
That's quite a high bar. That's
that's too high, I would say.
Yeah,
10 on 10.
To have a perfect year, you have to do something that no one ever does.
Yeah, I mean, like Djokovic is 2011, or Federer's 2006, or Djokovic 2015. Those are, I would say, 10 on 10. Nadal's
Rafa 2013, 10
I would say 2010 was a 10 on 10. 2013 would be a 9.5 in my opinion.
Yeah, because by that logic, you'd have 10 as the calendar slam, 9.5 for 3 slams, 9 for 2, and 8.5 for winning 1, and then basically an 8 would be you were kind of in there as a contender for a slam.
Yeah, John says 8 is super generous.
So if you've got that logical sense in like regular contending for slams and things, then yeah, by that logic, Felix is not hitting that. But that's not the metric we're using.
Yeah, like, do we mean it in terms of like for them how good the year is, or
I'm looking at it from that perspective.
Because like Runa, 9 out of 10 year for him, probably 10 out of 10 maybe. But for a regular player, are we saying that he has a 6 out of 10 year? That doesn't really seem fair. Like,
for Felix, this is an 8 out of 10 year.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. There were AORG ADP finals. Right.
Yeah.
But like again, we waited a long time for him to win a title, and he's won 4 out of 5 finals or something.
And eventually, John concedes. So
we're done
with it.
Yeah. You can't argue with the Popcorn Tennis podcast host, John. We will.
Popcorn Tennis podcast 1, Talking Tennis 0. Literally dunking on John's show. Anyway, I want to get back to Rublev because he dropped out of the top 100. I remember he opened up about going into depression. It was when he won his second title in 2019, or first or second, was it? I don't know. He did win a clay court title in 2019, and he spoke about it. And that's 2018 was when obviously there was their first meeting, Tsitsipas and Rublev at the next gen finals. Tsitsipas winning that, as you can see, in 5 mini sets, if that's what you want to call it. That was a 5th set tiebreaker, right? 4-3 in the 5th. Right, Rublev, and then they play at the US Open first round. That's why Tsitsipas had that meltdown about French people and the rest. And then that again, I think Rublev just sort of outplayed Tsitsipas, and Tsitsipas was just again, just fell off for a while after that RG defeat. I think it was consecutive. It was just Washington he made the semis. It was the first like opening round exit at every other tournament that he played. Sure, Queens he made the quarterfinal, lost to Felix. So yeah, I think it's really interesting between these two. It's sort of it's a very ping pong sort of rivalry. At this point, I would say Rublev is just the conditions favoring him a lot more. Yeah, I mean, Astana courts were a tad bit slower than the ones here in Turin. This would obviously favor Rublev more, I would say, the Turin ones. Wait, the Turin court is faster than the one at the O2 Arena, right?
Yeah,
I've heard that.
apparently, but I mean,
It seems like it, at
pretty
least.
quick in 2020.
Yeah, so if we're giving him 8, are we giving Taylor 8 points? Yeah, I would.
That's probably Indian Wales title.
Yeah,
Wimbledon
Yeah.
final.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, look, if you look at the slams, similar-ish here. There was a quarterfinal for Fritz and a 4th round as well. Same with Felix. There was a quarterfinal at the AO.
Although
round.
I do say that Taylor's first round loss at the US does put a dent in his year, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I had
So-
him he had a really good draw to reach the semi-finals.
He did, yes.
How did Fritz do at RG?
RG, he didn't play RG.
Did he not play? I didn't think he played. That was what it was.
Yeah, he played one tournament on clay. That was Houston. Lost to
Did he get
Garin.
injured or just didn't want to play clay?
Yes, he played Houston. He lost to Garin. He just pulled the plug on the clay season.
No, he did play French Open. He lost to Zapata Morales.
Oh, he played. Right, never mind.
who did have a very good tournament, actually. And he got to the quarterfinals, I think. No, sorry.
Fourth round. He lost to
round.
Zverev. Yeah.
Fourth round.
So actually,
Zverev.
Felix and Fritz had very similar years. It's just Fritz won a Masters and Felix didn't. So yeah,
Yeah.
8.5.
But then, like grass season, lost to Van Rijthoven, who didn't in that run.
He
That
won
was
Eastbourne, right, Fritz?
Won Eastbourne. He got to lost to Draper comfortably at Queens. Won Eastbourne. Wimbledon quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal at Wimbledon. Yeah, I mean,
Lost to retired against Evans in City Open. Lost to Evans again the next week.
tough.
Lost to Medvedev in that Cincinnati
Yeah, that was a
quarterfinal,
rough
and he should have won that first set.
Lost was rough.
Yeah, it was a scam from Medvedev in the first set. So I'd probably put them quite similar, to be honest. And the Brandon Holt loss to the US Open was bad, very bad.
Yeah.
But then again, not quite as bad as Tsitsipas losing to Galan in the first round on the same night. Both of them went out on the same night in 4 sets.
Same night.
Terrible.
That was an insane night.
That was mental.
Right, if we're rating seasons here,
Wasn't that the same night that Serena kind of stole a show and like beat Kovanic?
Yeah,
Was that one of the Serena nights? Yeah, because Serena was beating Kovanic.
I
and
think it was. Yeah.
It was a Serena match. Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this pass is 6-1, 6-love down to Galan." What? Then he
I remember
because I had them. They were in my quarterfinal facing each other, and I had Fritz winning.
If I was Galan, I would never stop telling that story.
Yeah, especially because he just got to the final. Tsitsipas just got to the final of Cincinnati, beating.
Yeah,
got to the final. Yeah, and he beat Tsitsipas, Medvedev in the semi-final. So, yeah, that was bonkers.
I've just looked at Rublev and Ruud's head-to-head, by the way, if we ever need it. 4-1 to Rublev.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only time
Ruud winning his only match last year in the knockout match in the round robin.
And that's their most recent meeting.
Who did Ruud beat in the other round robin match last year?
Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
He did well last year, didn't he?
Yeah. Because I remember Rublev and Ruud were like, who was in that group? Was it Tsitsipas? Was it Nadal?
Which group?
No, Nadal didn't play.
Nadal didn't play.
Yeah, it was Tsitsipas, Rublev, Djokovic, and Ruud.
Yeah.
Medvedev, Zverev.
Hurkacz.
That's right. So, he was going to come second.
Yeah, and then Berrettini withdrew during his match with Zverev. Got injured after the first set, and then Sinner came in, didn't he?
Yep. Right. We know Taylor Fritz being Djokovic. Tsitsipas Rublev. I think this is the match. I see it going. I know it's going to a third set.
Yes.
Here's the thing. What annoys me is that I just know that there's going to be a tiebreaker. Like, especially if it's going 3 sets. Like, at least 1, maybe 3. Also, right? How many matches have had 2 tiebreakers so far? Medvedev Rublev, Medvedev Tsitsipas, Felix versus Fritz. Yeah, 3. That's 3 out of how many? Quite a few.
Yeah. Does that mean then that Medvedev is the tiebreak king and him and Novak are going to have at least a couple of tiebreaks tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, well, I'll be off to watch the Lion King musical. They can kill each other in Turin. Right. Like, I just don't. I cannot put myself through that. Djokovic versus Fritz, I think definitely there is a tiebreaker there. Pretty much every match. Like, how long has it been? Like, I mean, if you look at the finals, very rarely do you see tiebreakers these days. I know 2020 match had a tiebreaker, 2019 had a deciding set tiebreaker, and the first set was also a tiebreaker. But yeah, my favorite final, it should be the 2012 one, the one between Djokovic and Federer. That was just epic tennis from both. Yeah. Which other? I think 2011 was good too. Federer and Tsonga.
Yeah, they actually showed that on Amazon Prime, kind of to fill the time between the this last singles match, the Ruud Nadal match, and the first doubles match of the evening session. They showed the Federer Tsonga 2011 final.
Yeah, they showed the 2010 one as well yesterday, I think.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was really close. That's a good match. Oh, it's getting late for us, Nick. 11:30.
Yeah. And my battery is dying on my device, so
right.
Yeah, I think we call it because I need to be up for work in the morning.
Yeah, I don't. I'm starting in the afternoon tomorrow.
But
I was up very early this morning, so yeah.
I have to be at work at 9. I have to be at work in about 9 hours, and I'm pretty sure my manager knows I do this. So,
right. So that was fun. It was a good match overall.
Good job, team.
Yeah. Popcorn Tennis Podcast team presenting to you.
We should quit the audio and release it as a podcast.
There's no way for me to actually get this. Actually, I can. I mean, download the whole YouTube video, right? I mean, John, there's gonna be a robbery. Watch out. Anyway, let's close. Just quickly, final thoughts, predictions for both matches tomorrow, and then I think we'll call it good. I'm gonna go with. I'll say Djokovic wins against Medvedev. I just think Medvedev won't show up for that. Like you'd expect. I think Djokovic wins, and I think Rublev wins in 3 sets.
I'm going to say exactly the same thing as Trahiri.
Interesting.
Okay, I will go Medvedev wins against Djokovic. Djokovic doesn't give it his all because Medvedev's playing well, and Djokovic doesn't want to be embroiled into a massive battle. And then I'll say Rublev in 3 as well.
Interesting. So all of us have Rublev in 3. Of course, you will have Nick, Owen, and Vanch. Obviously, Owen making his commentary debut for Talking Tennis tomorrow. I think Owen and Vanch probably have different predictions to what Nick has. We'll hear from them shortly, obviously. But then for those of you who joined, thanks for sticking it through, and hope you enjoyed this coverage of Taylor Fritz versus Félix Auger-Aliassime, and we will catch you tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow early morning, depending on where you are. Thanks, guys.
Catch you. And don't forget, I'm pretty sure there's also, I don't know if there's coverage of the afternoon match, Djokovic-Medvedev.
Oh,
yeah, there will be. I'm sure that
maybe somebody's covering. I think Mario's on, or he knows what happens there, so I don't think he'll get Mario on for that. But I don't know. I think John has that.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Talking Tennis for more.
Stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
If you enjoyed
Thanks for stopping
this
by.
video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.